Welcome, everyone. Beer Guys Radio. We are live. We're here with Fire Maker Brewing Company, Atlanta, Georgia, backyard, home state, home turf, doing it up. Following up on our 50 beers, 50 states show, you guys were featured for Georgia. And Elliot, we've had you on. Have you actually been on the show before? Or have we just hung out and drank beers?
Most recently, we just hung out and drank beers a couple years ago. But yeah, I was on about 5 years ago
with your previous brewery, right? Yeah. So okay. We've changed a little bit since last time you were on, then, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Were we at the original studio? Good stuff, man. It's fun to see our friends grow and change and evolve as we keep running our mouths about beer.
Yeah,
Right?
seriously. Yes.
Yeah. So for those watching the stream, if you have any questions or comments, please do leave them in the chat. We've got some radio to record here, but we'll be back in about 10 minutes to chat with everybody and get it going. But Fire Maker Brewing, Atlanta, Georgia, Beer Guys Radio. Nate, are you ready? Y'all ready to do some radio?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yeah, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week, we're talking with Fire Maker Brewing Company. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Brian Hewitt.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have a studio full of people.
In the studio,
Yes.
Brian, live.
All in the studio. And I know I didn't get everybody in the list, but we've got Elliot Hall, the CEO and co-founder of Fire Maker Brewing Company. We also have Kevin Wright, the head brewer. We've got Rachel Brammer, the marketing manager. We got Tyler Armstrong, the sales director. And I know we've got Susan there, and I didn't catch what her job title was.
Susan's our office administrator. She
Office
just
administrator.
started last week, actually. So.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. All right, so that's
it.
that's who we've got here. So we're going to talk about the collaboration beers made with tea, upcoming events, and maybe something called Ethiopian Hops if we have a chance to get into the news. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Oh, excited to be here. Thanks for inviting us, y'all.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Brian sounded a little overwhelmed with everybody. He's like, and I guess that's everybody.
I had to ad lib. You know how I like going off script.
He needs a break now.
That's
He needs
right.
a little
Yeah, I need a
breather.
breather.
But y'all, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
good to have you here. As we were talking just before we got on air, Elliot, that you and I have known each other much longer than when Fire Maker was just a little fire tender there,
Yeah.
right?
Dream,
Smoke and signal.
A small spark. Yeah.
Good stuff,
Yeah.
man. Well, it's awesome, man. We're looking forward to chatting with you and diving into it. You know, if you guys don't mind, before we dive into Fire Maker, I've got an exciting announcement about Beer Guys Radio that I want to share with everybody. So we made some things official this week. We teased it, Brian, on social media with some pictures a couple weeks ago.
We did.
But we have formed an alliance, a partnership with Dickey Broadcasting Company out of Atlanta, Georgia. Dickey Broadcasting is home of 680 The Fan Sports Radio, very popular sports radio station, and our local affiliate here in Atlanta, Extra 106.3. Through our partnership with Dickey Broadcasting, we've also joined the Podcast Park, a network that they have that until we joined the network was sports, and they want to become sports and lifestyle. So we're that first jump into becoming a lifestyle network.
We're
there.
supplying all the lifestyle.
We are for
Yes.
now, man. But we're hoping to be a foot in the door for some others.
Yes.
So if you are currently a podcast listener, you're not going to hear any difference. You'll still get our podcast at all your favorite podcasting apps. Radio listeners, same thing. We're still going to be there for you. This will just allow us to do some more stuff here in our local market and through the Podcast Park to grow a little bit more nationally and hopefully globally. So we're very excited about that partnership and what it's going to bring for Beer Guys Radio and some more opportunities, more options for our sponsors as well, Brian.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's going to be good. We're excited. And we just wanted to share that with everyone.
We're excited for y'all to be the
Thank you
first
so
ones
much.
on. Congrats.
How about it, man?
It's
Good
great.
stuff.
It's exceeds my wildest dreams.
Doesn't it, though, man? Think
Yeah.
about that, Brian. We just sit around and talk about beer. We're doing
I
cool stuff here.
would not have expected it.
Good
but
stuff.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, you know, I figure since Valentine's Day is coming, I was going to say Halloween, which I guess depending on how things are going for you, it could be.
Depends on who you're paired up with.
You might
That's
dress
right.
up in
Could be.
costumes anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do whatever makes you happy, you and your partner
Exactly.
on Valentine's Day. But with Valentine's Day right around the corner. I thought it'd be fun. There's some Valentine's themed beers out, or maybe beers that you would enjoy for Valentine's Day that maybe aren't necessarily themed that way. But Kevin, what are you popping open for Valentine's Day? What beer would you choose for a Valentine's beer?
Yeah, well, Valentine's Day this year, my wife is a dark beer fan, and luckily here at Fire Maker, we have a Love You Latte, coffee, vanilla, chocolate stout, and that is right up her alley. And I will be bringing a number of crowlers home.
That sounds
Valentine's Day.
like a good plan, man.
That sounds
a good
fantastic.
beer.
Yeah.
Especially if the wife is a fan of those kinds of beers. That really worked out well for you. Huh?
Oh, yeah, it works out beautifully for me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Elliot, how about you? What would you choose for Valentine's Day?
Probably what we're drinking on Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I just love the can, love the beer, love the name.
Is it cheating to pick your too easy, right?
They didn't know that we were going to ask this question before they cracked open these cans.
They
so
did
it's
not.
a nice
They
convenient.
prepped us there. They were
did.
ready before they knew they were. This is a tasty beer, by the way. I'm really enjoying this. The Romeo and Juliet.
Thank you.
Good old hazy IPA. Good stuff. Brian, as you and Uma sat down for a Valentine's Day drink, and I know Uma just chugs beer.
Just slams
chugs
it. She's not much of a drinker, so if I were thinking about it, I'm always thinking like chocolates and cherries, that sort of thing, or just big chocolate. So thoughts were like Foothill Sexual Chocolate, perhaps, or I like even more, and I don't even know if it's still out. Evil Twin did I Love You With My Stout,
Okay.
which I think
Yeah.
is the most appropriate beer for me because that's the
Yeah.
only way I know how to love is with my stout.
It's important to know your love language.
That's
as
right.
they
My
say.
love language is stout.
There, I totally respect that. And you know, Brian, I got to go kind of the same direction there. A beer we've talked about several times from Avery Brewing, which just barely gets over Georgia's ABV limit, so it's hard to get here. But Bonbon Cerise, chocolate covered cherry stout, which is just, it's decadent, delicious, hits all the flavors without being cloying. And I just really wish we could get those kind of beers here in Georgia.
I really do too. And honestly, had you not beat me to it, I might have picked that one as well because that's a great beer.
Well, that was actually the reason I told you that I was going to pick that right out of the gate because I knew your mind would go there as well.
If it were just me for Valentine's Day, it would probably be Twitch, which is their crazy coffee,
The coffee one
with
yeah.
a very high ABV, like 18%. So, but you know,
And to be honest, there's quite a few beers out there that kind of fit that theme. If you're going that direction. So, you know, you could have a Black Tuesday. Again,
That's
depends
right.
on your relationship status.
your language of
So
love,
it's
man.
your love
High
language.
ABV.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good stuff. Valentine, there you're ready. We've given you the
Yeah.
setup. You're ready to get your drinks for Valentine's Day.
So, Tim, what are the beers of the week this week?
Brian, as you know, this may come as a surprise to you, but we've got a great list of beers here to drink this week. And I want to remind everyone and thank the Nest for sponsoring this segment. The Nest in Kennesaw, Georgia, craft beer barbecue, lots of good taps there. They've got some coffee cocktails on too. And speaking of coffee, Brian, they do some cocktails with their partner Apotheos Roastery. There's some coffee on nitro if that's your thing, but plenty of taps of craft beer, good barbecue. So definitely go check them out. But here in the studio tonight, as Elliot already mentioned, we've got Romeo and Juliet, a hazy IPA. We have Kevin, correct me if I get this wrong, Song of, I can't read my handwriting, in Fire.
Song of Ladders and Fire.
Ladders and Fire, Song of Ladders and Fire. And speaking of the 50 states, 50 beers, I think Jason Murphy did a really cool picture with that beer that he shared on social.
Yeah, he did a great picture.
Yeah.
I was afraid it was a fire hazard, but it was still a good picture. So we're going to get a taste of that. I'm really excited about that one. And Roasted and Toasted, which is a coffee brown ale. So we're going to get into those today from Fire Maker Brewing Company. It's going to be a good time. Well, Brian, do you have some craft beer news for us this week?
As it turns out, I do, much
Good.
like every week.
Good.
I just don't always get to tell you what it is.
No, you don't.
So we've got some interesting hop news this week, and bad news for brewers looking for new experimental ingredients. The TTB has issued new guidance on, quote, Ethiopian hops, and it says that Reminus prinoides, which is a scientific name of this Ethiopian hop.
Is it?
Yeah, well, it's close. It's
Okay.
close.
All right.
Are not the same as the ones we traditionally use in making beer and cannot be used interchangeably with Humulus lupulus. Additionally, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not evaluated the safety of Ethiopian hops for use in alcoholic beverages and is determined they are not generally recognized as safe. As such, the TTB will not approve beer or mead recipe applications that include it as an ingredient. So as it turns out, what's called Ethiopian hops or gesho are actually a species of African shrub called buckthorn. And it's clear from looking at the pictures of them that they're definitely not the same thing as the hops we see. They're leaves. They're leaves off of this bush, but they are used in a similar manner to make beers and meads in Eritrea and Ethiopia. So they're used as kind of a bittering and flavoring agent.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a completely different.
They're making Groot over there.
Kind of, yeah. It's
Right?
technically a Groot, Tim. So
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
Are you guys familiar with these Ethiopian hops that they're talking about?
No, I'm not at all. This is pretty
Okay.
interesting.
Some new news.
If people want to try it out, if you don't need to get TTB approval for it, and you trust the fact that it's been made for centuries in these areas already in beer, I think you can get it off of Amazon. I think I saw it for sale on Amazon, but
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm not recommending it. I'm not a doctor or
You're just sharing the information.
yeah, just
there,
letting you
right?
know that that's out
This
there.
is
Do
for
what you want.
informational purposes only and is not to be construed as medical advice.
Exactly. So we've got another victim of the pandemic, an English pub down, according to CNN. The owners of Ye Old Fighting Cocks pub in a city just north of London claims it has been in operation since 793, or about 1,229 years. And it was at one point recognized by the Guinness World Records as the oldest pub in England. So they're closing for financial reasons because the last 2 years have been tough. The silver lining is they're not likely to stay closed long because the people running it aren't the people that own it, and the people that own it are looking to get it back in operation as soon as possible.
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah.
We'll have to reach out to our friend Owen Ogletree, big fan of those English ales, and make sure he doesn't need some emotional support.
Yeah,
on that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Fire Maker Brewing. Clear. All right. Ethiopian hops.
Yes. They're called
Interesting.
in quotes because they've
they're
been
not
using
hops.
Yeah.
it in mead, but it's the leaves. And I think it's the leaves and the stems of the tree or the shrub or whatever it is that they've been using in mead and in some cases beer as a bittering agent
Yeah,
or
I mean,
something
it
like that. Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, before hops were a thing, you used
Yeah,
whatever spices, herbs
Yeah.
you had lying around for flavor,
Anything
so.
that would balance out the sweetness
Yeah.
of the malt. So,
I mean,
yeah.
it is technically a Groot.
It is
Yeah.
technically a Groot.
So-
I didn't even think to say that
Yeah.
until you said
I should have
something,
thrown
but-
that in on the show there for What Up ATL Beer. Shout out, technically a Groot. So got some Ant Story. They're Doobie Dragons. Ant
There
Story.
be dragons.
Hey,
Ant
Ant.
Story. He's, we
I already
like
gave you a
Ant.
shout
He's-
out.
Yeah.
Yes. Ant, as we've mentioned before, Ant is with Storytime Construction, has built a lot of breweries in the Atlanta area, including some recent expansion at Fire Maker that we'll talk about here
Mhm.
very soon. So
Did a great job. Thanks.
yeah, I followed him along online, seen him setting. He said it was working, but it looked like he was just burning your doors. So yeah,
He got a dragon head thing. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
I didn't. No,
He
I
got
missed
a
that.
dragon head thing, and he sent me this video where he's like burning these doors, but he like put the dragon
Through
head in
the
front of
dragon
it,
head?
so it's
Okay.
like through the dragon head. But he couldn't figure out a way to mount it on the
Is,
flamethrower.
is that what that weird mask
That's
is in
what
the
the mask
warehouse?
is, yeah.
Okay, I just
Okay.
walked in there yesterday. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to ask about this. This might be something I don't need to know
Yeah.
about.
So he
That's a need
was
to know base.
he was holding a mask and shooting a flamethrower.
And
through
so it looked like
essentially to-
it looked like a dragon breathing fire. It was
Let me
pretty
get a
cool.
little nip of that. Let me see. So,
Hey, could I
Should we pop open a crowler here? Or-
dude, you may get whatever
Yeah.
you like.
What,
there. All
what's
right.
next? What's next?
So as y'all know, we have occasionally
Roasted and toasted.
dabbled in non-alcoholic beers, and Nate is going mostly dry, mostly, right? I think you said no more than one beer a week, right? So a little
Very
cut
low
back.
moisture for Nate.
Yeah. So, but there is a lot of non-alcoholic beers out there to explore, and he brought one in that I've heard good things about, but I've never tried. Untitled Art. So we're gonna an Italian
okay.
style,
Yeah.
non-alcoholic Italian style pills.
Since you've got it right there, why don't I give that a shot? And Untitled Art does good work. So, historically speaking, anyway, based on, I can't claim to be an expert on all of their beers, but I
Sure.
have liked what I've had.
I've liked what I've had as well. Yeah.
Do we need a fresh glassware, or are we just gonna rinse and go?
I personally am good with rinse and go, but you
We
do
can-
whatever
for me.
feels right in your heart.
we
what-
can
go with
accommodate
that.
Whatever's
you.
right
Yeah.
is what you like.
Okay. Hey, I love that.
We're a brewery for the people.
And Tim, we
I'm down.
we classify as people.
Technically,
In the
people.
scientific sense.
We are
of the word.
technically people. It's great.
see if this is it.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Oh, there's a. Wait a second. That's a
Little fire
Tyrannosaurus
sling
Rex
in there.
head. Oh, is that a dragon? Okay, no,
I
it's
don't
starting
know.
to look like a dragon. All right, that looks like a dragon.
Ant claiming work in there, huh?
He nearly
Roasted
had them
and
in sync.
toasted.
They were.
It was
Where's
close.
your taster?
He
You
wanted
want
to find
some
like a
roasted and
metal
toasted?
one that he could put on
You
it,
gonna
but
hold on to that one?
he could find that. He found that
For a
plastic
second, I thought, oh,
I
he
gotta
found a
catch up.
Tyrannosaurus
I gotta catch up here.
skeleton. So,
Thank
but
you,
no,
sir.
that
I
looks
appreciate
that's
that.
definitely a dragon. I guess very
May not
similar.
surprise you that this table has seen a lot of beer. So see the door there. And, oh, I see flames. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Okay. All right. All right. That'll work.
I love that he probably spent a lot of time making that happen.
And we need you
Just
to
for
figure
a-
out how to
a
mount
30-second
that on
video.
There, though.
He's laughing over there.
Yes.
Can I top anyone up here? Or
Yes.
I'm gonna
yeah.
be there and
No rush.
finish this one.
Tim never wants to be the first one to pour off a crowler anyway because
He already did. So
Oh,
he
yeah.
already
All right,
got
so
it
you're good.
started.
I embarrassed myself already. Don't worry.
That's pretty good. That NA. It's got a touch of something. It definitely I could taste the
does.
NA in there, but
Yes,
it's good.
but
It's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
I think, you know what, there's some really good NAs out there. And I tell you what, there's a couple that I know a lot of the NA breweries say they could put their beers with real beers and blind taste and people would never guess. Even the best ones I've had, I still think I could pick them out. Most of them in a blind tasting.
With the exception of
With the
that
exception of the
Bravas
peanut butter.
butter stout. Yes. With the exception of that would
Yeah.
fool me. That,
So
Which Untitled art are you having over there? Oh, cool. Yeah. No, they do amazing stuff.
oh yeah.
I was
Can I get a sip of this?
in Chicago before I came down here, and there was a lot of Untitled art NA
Yeah.
out there, and I actually drink a good bit of it, and I didn't even realize they were making alcoholic beers as well. I thought that was their thing.
That was their thing, huh?
And I was like, wow, they're doing a great job. And then I heard that they were doing NAs. I was like, wow, that's impressive.
If I remember correctly, Untitled Art, I think, is part of Octopi or maybe the other way
That's true.
around. And I
Yeah.
think they do some contract for certain
Yeah,
people.
so-
They do that. So
Thanks.
and I think I remember Untitled Art. Isn't Untitled Art's thing that it's all collabs?
For the most part, yeah.
And the names are just what the beer is, right? Which plays into the Untitled Art thing. They're like, look, this is what the beer is,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I was brewing some NAs at my last job, and
Okay.
I started drinking quite a bit. It was like I would just
Yeah.
have a regular beer and then an NA beer and then
Sure.
a regular, and just it made
Gotta
my
stay
nights a little
hydrated.
bit. Yeah, you know, it's didn't wake up feeling quite as bad every morning.
The one I really want to try is apparently Deschutes came out with a NA Black Butte
They
Porter.
did.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you serious?
Yes. And,
I had to just reach it. They were cool with us, man. I had to just
yeah.
since we may not see it over here, just be like, hey,
I imagine we'd make it over here eventually. We could. I'm not in the habit of just
I'm not
kind
in
of
the habit
hitting
either.
people up. Say, hey man,
I-
looking for some
I
beer.
will drink anything that Deschutes puts into a package.
That's right.
Every beer
Yeah.
they make is top
It's good
notch.
stuff, right? Yeah.
I mean, that Black Butte's probably the best, easily, best porter around that you can find
Mhm.
everywhere. I'll drink that beer
Yeah.
every day.
And it's been the best porter for 20
Kevin,
years.
would you help
ish.
me out and do
Yeah, for
let
sure.
me get a little roasted and toasted here?
Oh yeah. I'm
There we go.
gonna need some roasting and toasting over
Thank
here
you, sir.
myself.
Appreciate it.
So we were trying to think of
Roasted and
the
toasted.
name for this beer, and we have hazed and blazed.
There we go.
Okay.
well, what's next for a coffee beer?
There you go, man.
Roasted and toasted.
Absolutely.
Ant's story says I tired. I think he means I tried, but he might be tired as
Yeah,
well.
He
I think it
probably
was
said that
late. I
because
think it was
he's
late.
tired. Yeah.
He's been building a lot of stuff around
Yeah.
Fire Maker, so he's probably pretty
Yeah.
tired.
I'll get up in the morning for the day job and I'll see posts from him at like 4 a.m.
Or emails.
So, and then I won't share your beer secrets. I won't share your beer secrets.
Uh
His dive bar bear secrets. I won't tell him. about it.
oh. I might have seen that. I'm trying to think. It sounds familiar.
Wow, that's
But I
really
won't
good.
share it either.
That's really tasty.
His secret is safe with me as long as he brings around what was it, the red breast again?
Red breast,
Bring
yeah.
that around, and all secrets are safe with me.
Just bring us a Ziploc bag full of that red breast and
And a straw.
just,
No, you know what?
just,
I don't even need the straw. I'll supply my own straw
We're talking about beer. Now I'm hearing Ziplocs and straws. I'm
and whiskey.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm really starting to get lost.
You know, though, actually close to bring this back full circle. There's an empty box up there that a few weeks ago we talked to Primitive Beer out of Colorado, and they do still beers, a bag and box. And so we got it was their glue beer blend that they had a hot beer fest out there with Weldworks, Cohesion, and Primitive Beer, and they did a glue beer are you familiar with glue beer?
I'm actually not. No.
So you familiar with glue wine?
No.
So glue, it's a mulled wine, like spiced
Oh,
mulled
okay.
wine,
Heated,
like with
spiced,
fruit and
yeah.
spices. Glue beer is just the
Same thing.
typically with a creek.
Okay.
But you'll add honey or sugar, citrus fruit, spices in that. So this was their blend that was made to be heated and mulled, and you drink it still heated and mulled. And then they had another beer that you'd get your mug of beer and go out to the fire pit where they had red hot pokers in the pit, and they plunge one down in your beer.
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
kind of caramelize those sugars and stuff.
Yeah, we just had a nice little event with those last week for our
See?
Mug Club members.
Oh, did
Okay.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to try that. I want to do
I
the
do.
hot poker thing.
Yeah, we have a bunch of them in house now. So if you become a member of the Mug Club, you might get a chance.
See, all right. Now we were just talking about clubs.
Can I
recently
just
that
join
we've
the
seen.
hot poker club? I don't care about the mug so
yeah,
much.
but
Just the
there's
hot
no
poker.
telling where the hot poker will end up. And
With just really good looking people.
Oh,
that's it. Yeah, the
Oh.
hot poker. Brian, I've got some bad news
that's
for the hot poker club and your membership.
that I'm accepted unconditionally. Is that what the good
what,
or
buddy?
bad news
Let's
is?
go with that because I
Okay.
feel that's nicer than the alternative there.
Because
So,
I can't think of another scenario that at all.
no, absolutely right. I don't know what I was thinking about over here.
Exactly.
All right, shall we do some more radio?
Yeah,
Let's
I
do it.
suppose so.
So you know what? Just a sec, Nate, before we get back into this, did you hear the mergers and acquisitions news that the Brewers Association just released?
No. Just
So
like-
it was like today,
Okay,
like breaking
no.
news, but they put a statement out on it and seriously came in like just before I came to the studio. So I did, but apparently the Justice Department or someone, I'm going to chop this up. So that's why we didn't include it in the show, but they're working to pass laws that deal with these mergers and acquisitions of the larger breweries to help out and make the field more fair for smaller
Oh,
players. So
Presumably
I don't
anti-monopolistic type
Yeah,
of
that's
practices.
what I would
I
think,
would
but-
assume.
That's
I'll have to
interesting, though.
dive more into that and see what's going on.
That'll be
Because there's
interesting
so-
because if it's just like market share, which is generally the rule
Yeah.
against monopolies, like
Mhm.
you could buy 1,000 different small
Yeah.
breweries and it wouldn't affect market share
How
at
are they-
all. But
Exactly. How are they going to let Miller Coors join together? But then,
Yeah.
here's two. What,
Now, haven't they-
Canarchy's too much.
No,
Like,
don't do that.
that's
Don't do
true.
that. Now, haven't they had something? Haven't they had something recently where they did have some like, okay, you've got to sell off this business unit before you can do this?
I think
because-
they did actually. I think
Yeah.
that there was involved in the big guys, either AB InBev or Molson Coors. I think there was
right.
actually. I think it might have been Coors. Like there was. Did it used to be? It was like Miller Coors. I don't know what it is. There was some sort of weird wheeling and dealing, and I think it has actually happened with AB InBev, but it might have been with international properties.
You're right.
or something like
That's
that.
exactly
Yeah.
what it was.
And it's
yeah.
all complicated
Like
stuff.
4 or
like-
5 years, or 3
Yeah.
or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man, I'm all for the free market. Go out there and do your thing. If you want to sell, whatever. And my attitudes towards what they call sellout breweries is eased over the years. It's like there's certain ones I don't like just because I think they were jerks about it, to be quite honest with you.
Yes.
But there's some we know Spike from Terrapin.
Mhm.
We've talked to him about the pros of what he did. We know John that used to be with Terrapin and now has Upcountry. And these were two guys that went different directions when the brewery sold. John didn't want to be there. He wanted a smaller brewery. And he went up to Asheville area and opened him a smaller brewery. Spike stayed on with the Terrapin team and kept moving forward with them. But he mentioned, the benefits and things. The problem I have with it is just the dirty pool that some of the bigger brewers throw into this. If you're competitive, that's one thing. But if you're doing malicious, sneaky, dirty things, I'm not cool with that, Brian.
My big thing with a lot of the sellouts is concerns if it's a beer I drink, what they're going to end up doing, even though they tell you all the wonderful things
Sure.
up front. Nothing's going to change. No. Everything's going to change. We're just going to wait until you've forgotten.
Yeah.
And but for the most part, I'm not too concerned. And the big thing, there were a lot of articles out there about people not raising a fuss about Canarchy and the whole monster situation. I honestly kind of didn't think Canarchy was craft anymore anyway. I know that they're technically, but I always kind of viewed them as like, now they're a big thing.
You start
they're a
merging
big
together
thing, you know,
and getting big there.
they're
It
kind
was
of
much
not
more
the same thing. you know?
Tactfully done over
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You just got it. Oh, it's just
Yeah.
breweries merging. Cool. And then,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, okay. Like you're not
The old soft shoe to the end
absolutely
goal.
like,
Yeah.
It's a bit, yeah.
And you know, to be honest, I generally prefer the smaller brewers. I just like, I don't know, I like the vibe of these smaller brewers. And a lot of the beers we drink and we go for do fall into that, whether it's local or outside of our local area. It does fall into the breweries. Some larger craft brewers, but still, I guess, small in the grand scheme of things.
That's my question whenever we're like roundtabling this sort of conversation is at what point is it no longer small?
Yeah. I
Like
don't know.
what is it? Like, because if you've got two great breweries that join together and now, wow, they've got more of the market share in a particular city.
Yeah,
They might not be small for that city anymore,
sure.
but in the grand scheme, I mean,
Yeah.
they're tiny.
Well, even when Sam Adams was like big,
Mhm.
he was telling people he said Budweiser literally spills more beer on the floor than I make in a year. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's not an exaggeration. That's a true
without a doubt.
legitimate statement.
Yeah.
He's like, they literally spill more beer than I make in a year. And he said, so when you say I'm not craft because I've got this size or whatever, these are the big brewers. You know, these are the macro brewers. These guys are, you know, people don't realize the scope difference there in a small brewer. And I know that's even come into play, you know, with some of the lawmaking here in Georgia, where they've said things where they'll talk about Sweetwater, and people who don't know a lot about beer, a Sweetwater and a Budweiser may be the same thing to them. To that 80-year-old senator, you know,
Beer's beer.
right. Sweetwater and Budweiser. I know both of these both are big breweries. There's no difference in the two.
What
as
is
far
wrong
as-
with the beers we got, Tim?
What's
I
wrong
love-
with the beers we got? Yeah.
But listening to yours, that still makes me laugh every time I go.
It's a classic. We
Yeah.
can never get rid of that.
Didn't he pass away recently? I think he did. I forget
Maybe
what his,
last year or the
yeah,
year before.
yeah. R.I.P.
My career started in a 650,000 barrel a year
Yeah.
brewery
See?
on the
Yeah.
West Coast, and we did in one day what Fire Maker does in a year.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not-
That's just the way it
and-
is. Sure.
Elliot doesn't want to know how much beer I've put down the drain in my career because
Yeah.
he might fire me for that just on past experience.
Just dump it out, right.
You lost how much?
What? What?
And yeah, people, they really just don't understand the scope of it sometimes.
Sure.
Of until
Yeah.
you bring them into a facility like that, it's like, oh my God,
Right.
this is what happens.
When in
And-
Cartersville, that's where they filmed Star Trek. Like when they're running through the ship's engine in Star Trek, and like one of the newer ones, that's
Is it?
Cartersville.
Oh,
so
no
that gives you an
kidding.
idea of like, wow, it's
I'll
as
be
big
darned.
as the Enterprise.
It's the Enterprise, man.
I'm gonna look. I need to watch that again and look for beer tanks.
As soon as you
Yeah.
know, you're like, oh my god, yeah. I
Like,
mean, it's
yeah.
cleaned up, and they add stuff so you don't like blatantly know, but yeah,
they don't have a bucket
That's
in the
pretty
corner that's
awesome.
bubbling or anything like that.
Right. They might, man. A
No,
little,
it's
a
on
little
the cutting room
CGI.
floor,
it
yeah.
should be,
A little
yeah.
CGI.
they capture all their CO2 there, I promise you. So you're not
Yeah.
seeing any bubbles at
You know what? That's
Cartersville.
a fair point. Yeah, that's a big thing. At a certain size, you're capturing that because you can reuse it
Right.
because it saves you some money.
It's
So.
not some money, a
lot of money,
Yeah, when you're again, we're talking about scope here.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk a brewery the size of a, you know, and you know what, we keep talking about Cartersville. For those that are not in the area,
Yep.
it's an AB InBev. You know, Budweiser brewery in Cartersville, Georgia, not 15, 20 miles from it, maybe a few more than 20, but not far from where we are. You know, a big Budweiser facility up there.
which I do want to go tour. We need to.
Oh,
I want to tour as well. I do.
those facilities are just modern marvels of
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never been.
manufacturing.
I've never been to one of the really large scale ones like
Right.
that. Heck, I think now you know what I did walk through the Sierra Nevada place. I didn't get the tour, but I walked through. That's
But
the
again,
largest I've seen.
and I bet that's a different scope,
Yeah.
you know, in magnitude that we're talking about here. Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
All
are we-
right.
Are we on the radio?
We're not. We're
Oh.
just running their mouths right now.
we're
We're
just
just,
talking.
This is between
we're
segments.
just
Stuff.
live
Yeah.
live stream jabber right now. So
Yes.
all right. All right. Shall we do it?
Let's move it.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Your revolution is over, Mr. Lebowski. Condolences. The bomb's lost.
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand, so if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Fire Maker Brewing Company.
And now, part of the Podcast Park Network.
That's right. Yes.
Brian. Promise not to pitch that too much, but I figured that was a good time.
They're not one of the unpopular ones I was talking
They're
about.
not one of the unpopular,
And
especially not now.
The listeners know which ones I'm talking about.
You know.
Yeah,
You know. Fire Maker Brewing Company. Elliot, Kevin, thank you guys so much for joining us. We have got a new beer in our glasses here. We have the roasted and toasted coffee brown ale. And, I'm going to jump ahead here. We want to talk about this a little bit more. But does this beer use Fire Maker coffee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wouldn't miss the
All right.
opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, we'll dive more into coffee. I don't want to get Brian started on coffee talk just yet.
He saw that I put that in the notes already. So,
I don't want to get him too started on that right
it's
now.
the minute there's even any coffee mentioned, even like in the periphery, that's coming up as a subject.
It's there. Yeah, we'll get there. But this is a coffee brown ale, and I've said a lot. I don't find a lot of brown ales that I enjoy on their own, but I just think it's a fantastic delivery vehicle for things like coffee, toasted hazelnut, coconut, things like that. Are you a brown ale aficionado? Just a base brown ale?
I wouldn't say aficionado, but
Okay.
I will say that they're a rare enough style that when I see it, I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
It's one I think that's underrepresented in the industry these days. So when I see it, I'm always gonna grab it just out of curiosity, for the most part. But definitely wanted one in our brew house or in our tap room. I think it's a great style that's such an easy drinker that fills that malty void that I think a lot of people are looking for. Obviously IPAs dominate everything, but there are other drinkers out there and we want to make sure we have something for everybody. So I thought having a nice easy drinking brown would be a good way to go.
And and it's an ale that kind of hits those points of it's still lighter, but you've got some roast, you've got some character there. So if you want something that's not Brian's 37% stout for Valentine's
That's right.
Day,
Yeah.
then this
Coffee
could fit
stout.
right in there for you, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's 4.7%. I mean, you can easily sit here and drink a number of these. It's got a nice light body to it. Get to your pours and stouts, and that body just starts to kind of build up on you, and you don't want to have more than one. I didn't want to go too strong on the coffee on this either, because that can be off-putting for multiple beers. So try to keep the coffee a little subdued. Make sure it's there, but not overpowering. Keep it light and easy to drink, and I think it turned out well.
Now, Elliot,
Ideal
Kevin
cigar
just
beer.
said
Ideal cigar beer.
beer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yep. That's the first thing I thought when I was drinking it. I could use a cigar right now. The brown ale
Cigar.
and the coffee together, it's perfect. Contrary to what you were saying about the IPAs ruling everything, when it comes to cigars, I think a brown ale trumps any IPA you see.
Oh,
out
you
there.
got to go dark
Yeah.
with the cigar.
Gotta.
The
I'm-
lovely latte too. You were talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
great too. Especially the something about the lactose that helps bring out the flavors of the cigar. They're very complimentary. I interrupted Tim.
You
I'm
did,
sorry.
and-
I'm
and
sorry. You may
and
continue.
The thought was there, and he wasn't. He's like, I can't let this go.
I can't.
I have to
No.
mention this cigar thing. I have to mention it.
I
But what I was going to say, Brian,
okay.
was Elliot. He said he was talking about porters and stouts, and he said, and you can't drink more than one. You don't want to drink more than one. Do you agree with that insanity that he's talking over here? So,
Depends on the mood and the beer, I guess.
Right.
I know I've speaking of the lovely latte, that's one of my favorites, and I can easily a 6-pack on a Saturday night.
kick back and enjoy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, we want to back up a little bit to Fire Maker and how it got started. And you've worked across the board when we talk about the tiers of the beverage system. You've, I think we first met when you were maybe in distribution.
Yeah, we did. It was, or I knew y'all.
Right.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
Or you and we talked a couple of times at like beer festivals and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I've worked every tier system actually over the years. So
Retail, distribution, and now a brewer, right?
yeah, well, I sit behind a desk, but I
yeah.
run a brewery.
But technically.
yeah, and I was a home brewer
Yes.
for years. I haven't brewed a home batch though, and unfortunately, years now.
It's
Right.
a very big homebrew system now.
That's
At
right.
975
Huge.
Chattahoochee.
Huge. Yes. Good stuff.
It's a lot more
Now,
expensive.
was that always part of the plan when you started? How long have you been wanting to not be a brewer that owns a brewery?
So that's interesting. So rewind, over a decade. And of course, in college, retails, that side and everything like that. And I was selling alcohol under the table or unlicensed, let's say, in college.
Okay. All
And
right.
so I think that's statute of limitations.
Probably
Who
good
knows?
enough. Yeah.
So look up, sure. But after college, I ended up getting a job with United Distributors, and it was I thought walking out of college, it was going to be like, oh, I'm going to go wine and dine people and sell alcohol. That's going to be the job I get. And
right.
of course, no, it's entry level grunt and
Yeah.
just throwing cases and working chain being, like the big box stores and stuff like that.
Right.
And I homebrewed with my dad growing up. I homebrewed a little in college, but then I got really into it once I was working with a distributor. So it was homebrewing by night and weekend and then selling by day. My wife, girlfriend at the time, got really into craft beer along with me. And so pretty much all our vacations turned into going around to
Beer
breweries.
vacations, huh?
Beer
Yeah.
vacations. Oh, and they still are.
Yeah.
But anyways, long story short, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So it was like, all right, well, let's make out a plan and figure out how to get there. So it was always, but setting a 10, 12, 15-year goal, you're not sure where it's really going to go or how fast, which truly congrats y'all on the announcement from y'all. You're talking about
Thank
growing
you.
over the
Thank
years.
you.
And y'all talking about exceeding y'all's wildest expectations. Like when I think the last time I was on, y'all were excited about a few states.
Like our third. Hey, we've
Yeah,
got 3
and-
affiliates.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And so this
Yeah.
is just real cool. So the same thing with Fire Makers. I did not think I would do it in that, I don't want to say a short amount of time. It was a lot of doors closing,
Sure.
opening windows, that whole thing. But it was a goal for the
Yeah.
my wife and family. So thanks, y'all.
Set your eyes on the prize. Brian.
Exactly. He said he was homebrewing with his dad. I had to think, how much different was it to homebrew back then? Because I mean, the availability of equipment was considerably less. I mean, now I don't know how old you are, so I can't really say. Maybe you're only 20. I mean,
I'm 57 years old.
okay. Well, there we go. All right.
Good.
So
See what beer
that's
does
what I
for you?
expected.
It's
Yeah.
a six-pack of Love You Latte every Saturday.
There
That's
you go.
right. And you don't look a day over 25, so that's perfect. It's working well for you.
No, homebrewing in the 90s. And of course, my dad was the one really doing it, but it was neat. Like I had his bind. I still have them. I mean, he had, before everyone had a computer and a cell phone, like he had binders with recipes in it and his notes in it and stuff like that. And also my brother was involved in that too. And so it was 5-gallon buckets. It was one shop. There was no online ordering anything, much less like specialty hops or malts and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Did you have any Ethiopian hops back then?
we
Yeah.
had plenty of those actually.
Yeah,
Did you?
stocked up, man.
Got them out of the backyard. You
Yeah.
got a couple of shrubs back there. Just harvest them there.
Yeah, but I was like, I was the bottle cleaner. That's what I like. So
He said, I used to brew with my dad. He's like, wait a minute. I wasn't brewing. He just told me I was.
That's
I was
right.
cleaning bottles.
Over
So,
the sink, scrubbing bottles. You're brewing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're
That's-
brewing if you wash kegs too. So
On a serious note, with that binder of notes and recipes, we need to
yeah.
pull one out and
There you
Absolutely.
go.
scale that.
yeah, no, absolutely, that's fantastic.
Do you guys know Ron Patterson? You familiar with the name Ron Patterson?
I'm not no.
So Ron is a UK based beer writer, author,
Historian.
historian, pretty much. But one of the things he does, he goes to these ancient English breweries and digs up recipes and history and all that.
Nice.
And he came to Atlanta a few years ago. I think he's actually in Atlanta this week again. And unfortunately, we couldn't make the event.
Oh, yeah.
Stan Hieronymus and Ron Patterson. But
Oh wow. I
He-
know Stan.
yeah, but he came through and partnered with 5 Seasons Brewing that used to be here, a brew pub that used to be here. And they brewed like an 18th century 60 shilling, something
okay.
like that.
Nice.
And 5 Seasons made a wonderful haggis and potatoes to go with it. And so we sat there and talked, historical beers and that.
And ate haggis.
And so he digs up those old recipes and kind of keeps it alive and talks about the methods and everything they did with these beers and centuries ago.
He's
Yeah.
incredibly
That's
active
cool.
too. His I believe
Yeah.
it's his blog I'm following. He's always got some new information about World War I and World War II, like breweries and beer and things like that. It's very interesting stuff.
He's always digging up
Yeah.
stuff, and it's fascinating. He's got a few books out there, but you're really going to find out. I think the beer history is phenomenal, and I think I saw something one time. The Atlanta History Museum may have like some stuff from old Georgia breweries. I'd love to go flip through the pages there and see
I
what
do
we
a
can
Fire
find.
Maker Beer Guys collab history beer.
There we do,
There you
man.
go.
Some historical brewing right
Right,
there.
Something from
Be a good
Atlanta,
time.
Georgia.
See,
Yeah.
good stuff, man.
Boil
Good
it with
stuff.
really hot rocks.
Yeah,
Right?
there we go.
Yes.
You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take us another break here, but we'll be back very soon with more Fire Maker Brewing. Excuse me. Fire Maker.
I got that bit of a dry cough left
I
over
do
from
too.
a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. It's annoying, really annoying. I don't have the plague.
It's not fluid.
It would
No,
be,
I actually took one of the home COVID tests. I'd never done one before. I actually did it more out of curiosity. I knew what I had, and it wasn't that. But I'm like, I want to try one of these things to see. And I was negative, which I knew.
and-
But
and
you know,
I've taken one of those, and they're easy. They're great.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you don't mind a little nasal intrusion, I mean, they're great. You know.
Yeah.
Hashtag beer name. Nasal
Nasal
intrusion.
Yes, nasal intrusion.
That happened
It's
to me with
so
Mexican
much
cake
aroma.
one time.
Yes.
It did actually.
He took a COVID test with Mexican cake a few
I
years
did.
before
I did.
COVID was even heard of. So
We were at the Nest, and Mexican cake was there. We got a bomber of it, and we're passing around, sharing it, and drinking it. And someone else there said, "What are you guys drinking? What's everybody so excited about?" We're like, "Oh, Mexican cake. It's this nice stout." And I think the bartender there said, "I've got one bottle left." And the guy's like, "You know what? I'll take it." So we just, and here's a great thing about beer. We were up there having some lunch, grabbing a beer. We shared it with a few of our friends, and we decided to share it with the other people at the bar. Someone else saw it, got another bottle, and the next thing you know, the whole bar is sharing these bottles of beers and just chatting
Yeah.
with each other.
Oh,
you know,
big old bottle share.
How many friends
when was
have
that?
you made just with, hey, what are you drinking?
oh,
Like,
so many
that's
times.
all you need.
Yeah,
And you're off and going.
that's it.
I
This
usually
was-
get take off, weirdo. Get your own beer.
No, you're right. They think he's going to try and take it.
It's like, what do you drink? It's like, you can't have any. Go away.
Do a fun picture, and I picked the bottles up like this with the two necks here. And what I thought I had was the one that still had some liquid on the bottom. So I'd take a drink like that, but I got the bottles flipped around. So when I did that, I just poured Mexican cake straight up my nose there. So yeah.
He got all the finer tones of it.
Yeah.
All up in his nostrils.
Yeah.
a nice nasal intrusion, you know.
It
Nasal
was.
intrusion.
It was. I didn't have COVID though, so the test came out okay.
He passed the
I
test.
did. Yes.
Nearly drowned, but passed the test.
Nearly
All right, what are we
drowned.
drinking next?
Yeah,
Let's
what do
pull
we
out. Let's
got?
get the Collab Baltic Porter.
Not to rush you. I see
Oh,
you
yeah.
have several beverages in
Yeah, I
front of
know.
you.
Like this
Look at
untitled
that,
art.
he's
This
gone.
is an A.
It's good. Yeah. It's,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
an A.
no, that's
Good,
what I'm.
huh?
Yeah.
If you weren't really thinking about it, drinking it, you might not notice. If you know, you can tell. But
It's
good.
amazing, though.
But good. That's the thing.
What?
It would satisfy you. Like, I can't have alcohol right now, but I can have this. This will work. This will work.
You at a friend's house or whatever, have a couple of regular beers, and then hang with a couple of NAs. Get home.
Are you getting into this
I
one
really
now? or-
liked kind of layering it and just going back and forth. You could drink all day,
Yeah.
and
Are
you
you-
never get to that.
Are you doing layering it like black and tan style, where half NA and half regular beer? I
This
get
is a 2.4.
a Black Tuesday and an NA. You're like, hey, it's only 10%. You know.
Although
Right.
that's interesting is that, like, all the little beers that are coming out now I don't know how big the market is, but I think there really is a place for 2.7, 2.8.
Yeah.
And people can drink them all day long, like if they
That-
want to.
We got to get ahead of the curve there.
I think that.
Cut the
This is a
live stream real quick. We got
We got
we got ideas.
Yeah, we got ideas.
trend train.
I think that's I don't know what the cutoff is. That there's a certain cutoff with the ABV where it's technically you won't be dehydrated drinking it. It's more hydrating than it is
Oh, okay.
dehydrating.
Yeah.
I don't know what that level is. It might be
dark
3%. It might
roasted.
actually be 4. I don't think it's 4 though. I think 4 is too high. It might be 2 or 3. Like if you can drink those, maybe eventually get some sort of calming feeling, but without the dehydrating effects of the
So
beer.
can I see that, Nate? I'm going to tell folks. So we're dipping into another NA here, and I think this is another one. I'm not sure I'd pick it out as a non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, I'm excited to try
so this is
thing.
another one
Yeah,
from
I really want
Untitled
to get a sip
Art,
of this.
and it's a s'mores dark brew.
Thank you.
And I think we talked to Bravis or Athletic one time where I guess stout.
Yeah, you can't call
you
it
can't
stout
say
legally.
stout
It
there,
has to be a
so-
dark
So
ale
here
or
you go.
something
Have
like
some
that.
s'mores dark brew. Yeah.
going.
I have wireless
Surprise,
headphones at
NA.
home. This is killing me.
Running into the wires.
Like Pinocchio, man.
We would do that here, but there are issues with the wireless ones. I think in terms of audio quality, maybe
There
they,
is,
maybe
and
really good
well,
ones aren't.
And
But
of course,
you know,
we're saying that tonight as we're having some
audio quality
some
issues. Yes,
but
we
Oh,
might
it
be
smells
better off.
delicious.
yeah,
Oh my God.
we don't want to forget the couch dwellers back there either.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
we've
You
got
guys want
stuff
some
coming
NA
around.
beer?
Don't miss
We've
out.
got
Don't
some
miss
NAs
out.
from.
No? Oh my God.
Are
This
we
one's
boring
great.
you to death, Rachel? Or are you just in the social zone there?
I'm
Let's
just
see.
taking a bunch of
Just
pictures.
stay on track. Stay on track.
She's been in Instagram the entire time. So,
Yeah.
These guys.
or is it TikTok? I don't know which one.
Well,
I don't know what
TikTok is the way to go now.
is it TikTok?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm learning from
It'll-
our
it'll be on
marketing
both.
specialist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian is highly anti-TikTok.
I'm not a fan of TikTok. I really don't care for it. But
It is the
that's
downfall
probably
of
because
Western
it is.
civilization.
It is
Yeah.
probably. I am
right,
the old
let's
man
see.
yelling at clouds. I know. I like Instagram. Nah, I don't care for TikTok.
I think the biggest thing with NAs that give them
That's-
away
Wow.
is the body and the mouthfeel.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just and
right.
in the NAs I've made in the past, it's you
Should
can
get
do a
the-
couple of things. I've never made it with a dealkalizer, which I'm pretty
Okay.
sure Untitled Art is using.
Gotcha.
Don't quote me on that for sure, but I've made it in other ways, and it's just so hard to bring that body in there.
Yeah.
But they do a great job on this one. They've got great. It almost even looks like a nitro.
I think
carb
we've
on
got
it,
one
but
of those
This-
Bravas in there. We
This
should get
song,
that
The
out
Ladders
too.
and Fire. It's almost as good as that non-alcoholic s'more stout.
Is it nearly as
Yeah.
good?
Which
just wanted to
way is
come in
the
close.
exit?
This
I
show,
guess?
this show is over.
Yeah.
No, that's you know what.
So quickly
taking-
delete
I'm
all
taking
your
my shirt
social
with me.
media posts.
Yeah, I'm out of here, but you're not getting this shirt back.
Can I get the Baltic Porter?
There you go.
Thank you.
No, this is super tasty.
I like that NA. I think we may have to because I think I brought in an extra one of the Bravas ones.
Okay.
Wait, where's
have to share
Bravas
that
from?
around.
Dip it down.
Where was Bravas?
Canada, maybe,
I don't think were they Canada?
or is that Partake? That was Canada.
Maybe it partakes Canada. I think partakes Canada. I don't know actually. I don't
know.
remember.
I'm not sure either.
I don't remember.
The-
Sorry, Bravas, if you're watching this.
Sorry, bro.
I know
We love
the-
you still.
The NA market is blowing
It
up
is.
though. I mean,
It's
it's
crazy.
It's athletic. It's like always sold out.
Yeah, Athletic is
they make
huge.
great stuff.
They just hired some new chief executive
Bravos
placement.
Brewing, Anaheim, California.
Anaheim. Okay,
Yeah.
that it partakes
This
Canada,
isn't
right?
the one.
Is that it?
This isn't. This is a breakfast star.
Yeah, there's
Is that what you were talking
no.
about?
There's a chocolate
Well, I mean, we
nut,
can-
nut brown one. I think
The
in
good
there.
thing is we can drink all of these and still drink y'all's beers and not get any more anymore.
Is there not one on the
intoxicated.
shelf in there? There was one I thought I brought in this weekend because I had some extras and I wasn't drinking them fast enough. Yes, it might be in the other one. I don't know. Yeah, because we've got the video camera legs in front of it. So
So Brian and I went out last weekend and we were feeling some beer and some charcuterie and beer. And so we went to Star
What a great
Provisions.
pairing.
And so shout out to Star Provisions, Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know the fella's name there, but the cheesemonger is awesome.
and he remembered
he's-
us from
he's
2 years
helped
ago.
us- he's helped us a couple times.
Dang.
Because we don't know much about cheese. We just know we like it.
No.
And so I'm like, well, I like this, and this, but not too much of that. He's like, check this out. So we get little samples. We end up leaving with, I think we had 3/4 of a pound of cheese. It was like $900.
Oh, it was. It was. I know that
Yeah.
what I noticed about it is I do remember the price. What we paid in cheese was the exact same amount we paid for lunch.
Our whole lunch, right?
The entire-
with drinks.
Yeah,
With
with
drinks.
drinks. Yes. So
Yeah.
the cheese wasn't inexpensive. It was great cheese.
It was very
though.
good cheese, though.
Very good cheese. Very interesting. Cheese has range, much like beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beer and cheese are without a
Just
doubt
phenomenal,
the
right?
best pairing.
Yeah.
Wine can't hold a candle when it comes to beer and cheese. If
Yeah.
you're talking, food pairings in general, wine and beer, I think they're right there.
They're
even.
good.
You can do great things with both. But when it gets to cheese specifically, beer, it's perfect.
It is.
It's so good.
We had a soft cheese. They said it was like a brie style,
Mhm.
but super funk, mushroom, earthy, and there was like
It was a bit like you
What
licked
was
the
the-
barnyard animal that gave birth to the cheese. Was it a lamb? Was it
what
lamb
was the
cheese?
what was the
It
know.
sounds
the
like I want to
finish on it?
goose with that.
Yes.
Well, that's
really
what we did.
good.
That's
So-
exactly
goose
what
would
we
be-
did.
oh,
We wanted my favorite goose is the Dre Fontaine and Oud goose. Love that. We didn't have that, but we did have something from Embrace the Funk.
Oh,
that,
Yazoo, right?
Yazoo's
Yeah.
Embrace the Funk that was American Wild Ale, Goose
Mhm.
style. And was it iodine? What was the thing? That doesn't sound right. What was it that ammonia?
Oh, you ammonia.
So the
that's right.
cheese had like an ammonia finish on it. And it was, I would say,
Lingering, yeah.
see, that would be the face you made if someone, but it wasn't
Sounds
unpleasant.
delicious, right, Rachel?
It wasn't unpleasant to me.
It was good. It was funky, weird, and
Yeah.
good. But yeah, you'd have to, if you're into funky and
Yeah.
weird beers. I mean, that cheese made a lot of
but
sense.
like
It was on the threshold for me.
It
I'm
was.
like,
It was right there.
It was right up to the mark where I'm like,
yeah.
this is really good. It goes into territory. Right, there's a cliff right there
Yeah.
where this is straight up bad.
You just can't
Yeah.
go any further than that.
Yeah.
And like an hour later, I'm driving home and I'm breathing and I'm getting ammonia through my nostrils from the cheese. So
So it's a bonus. It's it tastes good and it cleans out your
Cleans you
system
out,
with
man.
all that
Opens you up.
ammonia. Yeah.
opens you up.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's I burp later and I'm oh my god, that's ammonia. Did I drink Windex earlier? What's going
I
on?
made yourself pass out. So. All right.
What am I drinking?
Bless you.
Okay.
Do you guys know Bernard at Brickstore Pub?
Don't. I
Everybody.
just moved back to Atlanta.
Okay. All
so
right. From where?
I,
Out west?
I grew up in Peachtree City,
Okay,
but I left
gotcha.
when I was 22, and I've been all over. But I came back from Chicago recently.
From Chicago.
So,
Okay.
I spent the last 3 years
Gotcha.
in Chicago.
Bernard works the kitchen at Brickstore Pub and is
Mhm.
also their cheesemonger there. Not cheesemonger. He doesn't sell.
He's the pairings.
He's the cheese guy.
He's
the
just
cheese guy.
he
But,
organizes all the pairings. I think
He did.
for all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He know. Short of it, his dude knows his cheese.
Yeah.
Really good. And so he joined us on a show to talk about beer and cheese pairing. And really interesting. He was like, I want you to taste this beer first and then taste the cheese. Then make sure your palate's clear and then taste the cheese and taste the beer.
Oh yeah.
And it was so interesting how it would be different
Yeah.
depending on the order you went in and just how to pair them up and really the complement and contrast that you would get there in the pairing.
Depending
That's
on
good
which
stuff.
has first contact with your palate, it
Right.
biases it one way or the other.
what comes
Yeah.
out.
Like my first thought with that is like a clean sour with a nice bright citrusy salad. Like
Sure.
if you start with the salad, it's kind of leafy, still it's clean sour and that maybe fruited, and then that just makes all those flavors great.
Pop there.
And
Yeah.
then, but if you start with the beer and then you bring in the salad, that can kind of maybe temper the sourness, bring it a
Yeah.
little bit more palatable. And so you're just, you're getting two different things. And that's
It's fun, man. It's fun.
that's a great,
Fun to play with that.
a great little test or,
Sure.
thing to do with people. And that's something I've never done before, but I'll probably steal that with our staff when we do training.
Check it out, man. Yeah. See how they go.
Backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
Have some fun
Yeah.
with it. Shall we do more radio?
Yeah. What are we? A segment?
Shall
Is it
we do
three?
more?
Are we
We're
on
going
three?
into
Okay,
tree.
cool.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, WWDC HD2 1047 FM and 101 FM in Washington, D.C. Catch Beer Guys Radio on WWDC HD2 every Saturday at 5 p.m. Now let's get back to Fire Maker Brewing Company.
Fire Maker Brewing Company. We are into a song of Ladders and Fire.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. I'm like, don't get it wrong twice, Tim.
Who wrote the song?
Don't do that.
So the the name is based on the Song of Ice and Fire, the
Oh,
Game
yes,
of
sure.
Thrones books. When we brought Corporate Ladder up to do this glad and started just chit chatting, getting to know each other a little bit better, talking about our interest. Everyone at Fire Maker loves fantasy, medieval, dragons, all that stuff. Same
Good
at Corporate
stuff.
Ladder.
Yeah.
We found that as our common ground, so tried to work that into the beer name, and that's where we landed at.
That's where the ladder comes from. So how did
There you go.
why did you partner up with them on this beer?
So as we've advertised quite a bit, is we got the #2 best brewery at USA Today for last year, and Corporate Ladder was number 9. So after we got the award, we definitely wanted to keep our eyes out for collaborations with it. The taproom manager for Corporate Ladder happened to come by Fire Maker just on vacation one day, dropped off a couple beers, met with our taproom manager, got some emails going back and forth, and hey, let's make this happen.
There we go.
It's it was very natural, very easy. We didn't reach out to them. They didn't reach out to us specifically, just crossed paths, and it worked out really well.
I think those are the best collabs because I've talked to other brewers, how do you do your collabs? And most of them say, you know what, it's kind of organic. We're hanging out, we're doing this and that. And we're like, you know what, we should collab. We know each other, do this. It's not like I want to collab with this brewery. Let's get here. How do you click?
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Right? Yeah. Now you mentioned the #2 brewery award that you won USA Today for 2021, but that wasn't it. You guys had a pretty good 2021 overall, right?
Yeah, which was crazy coming off of 2020, just opening right before COVID shut us down in March. And, 2020 was just sort of like the Wild West for the industry in general. And then 2021, though, yeah, we had a pretty cool year. We grew a lot. And also, actually, Rachel, our marketing manager, we got 2 international gold medals for the Craft Beer Marketing Awards. One for our can design. So
good stuff.
The cans we got it here.
Was it all the can designs or a particular one?
For our core lineup, right?
The core lineup. Okay.
Which, shout out to Jordan Atkinson for the artwork.
Is that your designer? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, since we're on radio here, I'm going to give a visual. Are these supposed to be dragon scales?
So
is this scales on the can?
Exactly. So what you're looking at is our LTO. And so our LTO, they all use some variation of the dragon scales. But if you notice, like we put little small
What's
designs,
LTO, Elliot?
Limited time offerings.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He's talking these.
There was some
you're right.
stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
That seemed like
Anagrams.
important slang that we didn't know.
I didn't know that one. So now we know, though. Now we know.
But our cores, actually, we can grab.
Yeah, I'll grab one.
Our cores.
So is this the LTO?
Yeah.
Kind of your template? Is this and a different one for your cores, right?
Precisely. So our
Okay.
cores actually all have different designs on them.
I got you. Here we go.
But
They
our
do have the QR code on there, which is handy in case you need to get some quick information.
It's so funny. Me and Rachel were like, we got to put QR codes. And this was back in like early 2019. We're like, QR codes. And, it's going to be this unique thing. And then COVID, we're like,
Everybody's
I'm glad
doing-
everyone knows how to use them.
Yeah.
Because now we don't got to
now we
explain
gotta
it.
Because
use it,
I
yeah.
remember before COVID, I think I expressed, possibly not on the air, but just in general, probably to Tim, that QR codes are dead. I don't know why anybody does anything with those anymore. Now they're just kind of a right. So it's like
Yes.
the big winner in the pandemic, QR codes. Yes.
Yeah.
Our great grandmothers.
They need a
Right.
trophy
Yeah.
for that. So I think so. You got the can design and the crushies, right? Is that what they
Yes,
were called?
yes,
the
the
crushies,
crushies, yeah. Mhm.
and the website design. I was looking through the website. Nicely designed website.
Clean design there.
Yeah, very cool.
You designed the website.
Mhm.
You know what? That's
Why do we not have her
that's
on the
something-
mic?
Well, I know. That's it. We
Get some
gotta
pointers.
You know what? Slide it. Here we go. You know
Yeah.
what? We do
Yeah,
want to talk a little
yeah.
marketing with you, Rachel. So we're going to get Rachel to come in here for a second and talk design with us a little bit because I think this is an important part
It absolutely
of
is.
craft beer.
So-
because
It's what gets people to buy it.
Right.
What they see.
as we all know, the shelves are crowded, man. There's 9,000 plus craft brewers out there, and we're seeing more being distributed from one state to the other and around and all that. So,
So I completely agree. And that's something I learned from, working with United, and they got a lot of big brands. I mean, Diageo, Sweetwater, Terrapin, stuff like that. It's like
right.
the second full-time hire that Fire Maker ever had, not long after a head brewer, was Rachel, our marketing manager. Because it was like, yeah, we're of course making beer. That's where my passion is and, heart is. But we also have to market it. And we
Sure.
have to, really stand out on crowded shelves and things like that. But then also just looking at it like you have to be unique in your can design, but then also not cause any consumer confusion on
They
hey,
gotta
I'm
know
buying
this is a Fire Maker beer,
Exactly.
right.
So,
So
but
Rachel,
anyway,
as you guys were building out, I know that Elliot did progress videos.
Yes.
Were you behind that? The progress videos that he did?
Yeah. So I was filming all of those, the
Okay.
brewery updates.
And that's because everybody wants to know, where do things stand? They want to know, where's this brewery? And Elliot made sure to come on and act a little goofy and show us some progress as the brewery was being built out.
most of those were like after 10 or 12 hours with construction. So it was easy. I was just like,
It's like
let's,
I was literally goofy and loopy.
yeah.
At the time, so.
Rachel's like honing me in. She's like, or she'd be like, that's great. Do that again.
Yeah. Those were a lot of fun because that was obviously before we had any beer, any product, anything
Right.
to sell. So we definitely wanted to basically build a fan base before
Sure.
we even opened, which I think we were pretty successful at.
Right. You want people, and that's so important across any business. People will try your product.
Mhm.
Do they like you? For most things is like, I feel, I'm sure there's people out there that Fire Maker's their brewery. That's what, hey, I go to Fire Maker and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a ton
Absolutely.
of regulars for sure.
Yeah. So, and that's what you want. They're your, they're probably your greatest salespeople. No offense.
Your
to
bread and butter.
any
Yeah.
salespeople here, but you get out there and you make someone a fan, they're going to tell their friends, and get the word out there.
You're absolutely right. We talk about that all the time. Is like how you get one chance for somebody to try the beer, so the beer has to be good,
Right.
of course. And then how do you get somebody to like identify and connect with the brand itself? And there's tons of routes and avenues to that. Me and Rachel spend a lot of time talking about that exact thing, and it's always evolving.
Right. Yeah. You gotta make the brand. But okay, so we were talking about the core cans here. A lot of dragons. A lot
Yes,
of dragons
for sure.
happening here.
And there's a lot of dragons in the tap
Yeah.
room tying it all together. But
And that, Rachel, do you do the artwork as well? Are you doing all the design here?
No, so the artwork, Jordan Atkinson, he actually did our murals and he'll do
Okay.
other art for us as well, but he does the can designs. Me and Elliot will do like art direction for it, but he really perfects it and makes
Okay.
it come to life.
So that's it. You know what? We just wanted to talk branding a little bit, talk about how important it is that people, they see your beer on the shelf and they know that's a Fire Maker beer, or it attracts them in. And then they're like, oh, Fire Maker. I know that name. I know those guys. Good stuff.
even with the variation, there's a consistency amongst them that even on if you look at the back side of the can without seeing the main logo, they look the same. And like you can tell that these are all, despite the differences in colors, these are consistent. Well,
Right.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have the same layout, especially we call it the side labels. That's what it is, like with all the information on it. Every beer has the QR codes like we were talking about, a beer story on it, 3 descriptive factors, a beer meter. So we basically want you to be able to look at the can and taste it before you even open it.
They're informative and educational.
Yes.
Taste it before you even open
like
it. I like
PBS.
that.
That's right. Brian's like, sign me up.
I'm on board.
Well, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And branding, growing, marketing, developing a fan base has led to expansion,
Mhm.
right? So, as we were talking during the break with our friend and sponsor, Ant Story of Storytime Construction, and he's been building out some cool stuff at Fire Maker here recently. And we're going to dip into it a little bit. We don't have long for a break, but you've got a beer garden now,
Mhm.
correct? There's an event now at Fire Maker.
Well, so essentially the building next door to us went for sale, and it had been for sale for like 20 years, 20
Oh,
plus
wow.
years.
Okay.
So luckily the investors, who are very smart, were like, well, that's an opportunity we can't pass up. So that expansion or that acquisition allowed us to do a lot of things. And one of the things being a beer garden, a beer hall, a little event space that we've put together, but also bulk storage, really, which then allowed us to free up our production area. And now we are doubling our capacity in Fire Maker's like original location, which they're right next to each other. So we all call it the campus.
Just a little sidewalk
yeah,
to walk across.
exactly.
there,
So
right?
we call it the campus because we're like, where are you at? And trying to find
The
each other.
campus.
Oh, and then the big thing is the office. So like the first offices were in that same area, and it was basically like 5 of us in a room, not even this big, just trying to
Crowded
get
in there,
work
right?
done.
Good stuff,
Yeah.
man. Awesome. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take us another break, but we'll be back very soon with more from Fire Maker Brewing. Nate, looks like we got us a slew of comments.
Oh yeah,
there.
we do. Oh,
Let's see what's
Stephen
up.
Pete.
Stephen. Cheers to Fire Maker and Beer Guys Radio. Stephen, thank you for stopping in. Always great to see you.
cheers from Kettle Rock Brewing.
Yes,
Yeah,
Kettle Rock. Good stuff. And we've got
Steve.
I think this, go ahead and throw that one up there. I always love this. I have no idea what it means, but
I think these are bots.
is it just bots?
I think these are bots. They're trying to infect
Vom
our.
today.
I think they're trying to infect our stream in some way.
Okay. All
Do you
right.
feel infected in any way? Well, you do have a little bit of a red
I
eye.
did.
but
I did something.
I think they
poked my
affect-
eye
I
of
think they
that.
infected you. I think that's what happens.
Great. That's great.
So,
Nate, you even got a shout out there, man. No one respects No Mike Nate.
hey,
There we go, man.
He knows how to butter everybody.
He
up.
is, man. He's
Everybody.
working it.
Yeah, I like the I like can art in general, so I got a little sucked into the can art. I was looking at.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
That's
good
Rachel.
though.
I always think about this when people when I was looking at this and I was thinking people rebrand these things like they create a great thing. I'm like, why do people ever rebrand? I guess
Right.
it's to revive something that's
Sure,
become
man.
people.
And you know what? The important thing on a rebrand is you have to stay familiar but look fresh.
Yeah.
People have to. You can't just totally become someone new there.
Yeah, exactly right. And maybe some people do that poorly and other people do it well. But I think like you nail this good look, and I think why do people ever change that?
Right.
Up? But you know,
Now, Rachel, as a marketing and design person, did you see the latest news on Google's logo redesign?
I didn't.
Okay, so they updated their logo, but it's basically what they did is they made the centerpiece just slightly larger and took out some shading in there. And the house is divided on what was the point, and that's brilliant. It's cleaner, it's sharper, it's still, people still know this is Google. So kind of an interesting look into the design world of how these microscopic changes, they feel are necessary and I guess can have a big impact there when you're talking design stuff.
that's probably smart because they've done small things to make it look new while still being familiar, like you were saying. The same thing that I think Microsoft does with their OSs frequently. They get bad about it. They go really far, too far. But when they've made minor changes to the OS, you're like, oh, hey, from 95 to 98 or 2000 to Windows 7 or whatever. It's small, like, oh, it looks kind of new. It looks kind of new, but it's very familiar,
Well, Windows 3.11, showing my age, that was a jump. That was a big jump there.
If they went back to that, it would look new again.
It would, man. The retro look is in, man. It would be there.
You could probably buy it on like Etsy
Get a
for
DOS
$2,000.
Right. Yeah.
You should redesign all
Vintage.
your cans in Windows 3.11. Like nothing beyond like how many colors were there? 8 of them? I don't even remember.
16.
That was the
8 or
upgrade. That was-
16.
Was that the upgrade?
Yeah.
It started off 4. You could get 8 if you gave them an extra
You know what?
$500.
I honestly think I remember upgrading my graphics card one time to get 2048 colors. It seems either 2048 or 4096 seems right. But that
Sounds
was big
about
stuff. I mean, when you're going from my first monitor.
Well, if you're doubling your colors, yeah.
My first monitor
Monochrome
was
to-
amber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I did own a few things that had green screens on them, but they were hand-me-downs. I didn't
I
actually
still-
buy them.
on a shelf in the corner of my garage, I still have an old CRT monitor from back in the days, back when a 17-inch monitor was a big monitor because it was a standard monitor. And I can't imagine doing anything
No.
on a 13-inch monitor these days.
Well, now your car's monitor is bigger than that.
Yes.
Like in some car, like I got somebody's car the other day and I was like, this is bigger than like the
They
TV
got a
I had in
wide-
college.
They got a
Exactly,
widescreen TV
Yeah.
in there.
And
Yeah,
it's touch
exactly.
screen.
When I first moved into my house, I had a console television, for those that remember those, in a wooden crate. And I think it was either 25 or 27 inch. In my house, the apartment I was in before, there's seriously like 6 feet between like the couch and the wall where the TV was. In my new house, the living room was like 25 by 25 with the 2-story ceilings and all that. And I put the TV against the wall and put my easy chair back here. I swear I needed binoculars to see this thing, man. It's like, wow, I didn't realize how small this thing was.
Quick question. How many more segments do we have?
We got
One
one more.
more.
Gotcha.
I switched back if we were talking about the beer again. That's right.
Okay, cool.
So what do you guys, you know what? This is actually good timing since you asked. When we go into the fourth segment, because we really have not covered a ton of
Not
our,
too much of it.
of
We
our
got
content
we got
here.
sidetracked.
What do
on
you guys
Amazon.
want to make sure we don't miss in this last segment?
I was actually with the expansion. That's the fastest I've ever talked about that.
I know.
I was like 30 seconds.
See?
Sorry,
we
boom,
we
boom,
need to get
boom.
our
we go.
meetings like that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that in the meetings. Just
Right. He's learning from you. Come on, let's wrap it up.
This could be an email. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about corporate ladder.
There's
Expansion.
another collaboration you guys
Yeah.
had mentioned.
we talked about
definitely
the
want to get
accolades.
onto that.
Ask
So-
about that.
So really, we want to plug our grand anniversary party, but
You
then
know
also
it.
we'd like to talk about our collab because that actually rolls into the Georgia Guild Beer Fest, the first one ever that's
Oh, yeah.
going to be on
That's probably the big one to hit.
Yeah.
The festival in the club.
Anniversary collab.
Okay. We'll do a plug for Grand Anniversary just real quick.
Yeah.
We'll get it. Cool. Yeah, as you can see, we just kind of we
like
do our
it.
bullet points and then just kind of flow with
It's
whatever.
nice to have
You
an
got a
idea
can
of where you're
art fan
going.
here. Kimberly
All right.
Yeah.
loves the can art.
Thanks,
Loves
Kimberly.
the can art there.
I gotta say, I with my background being more corporate brewing, bigger brewing, and everything is obviously so specialized and separated in those situations. Or I just made the beer, and that's all it was. I had
That was
no idea sales,
Yeah.
marketing, never even came close to me. And coming to Fire Maker and seeing the work that Rachel does, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like,
Who-
the
Well,
amount
Rachel-
of traffic she's able to bring into the tap room, the pictures she does, the branding as a whole, like
Yeah.
I had no clue that this is the level of like dedication and hours and stuff that you had to put into this to make it successful.
Sure.
And it was really eye opening for me.
And you know something too, you talk about doing the big corporate brewing. Someone talked to us about marketing, and within radio and podcast, people will always say, how important is marketing? And I'm sure beer as well. How important is this? You know, how often do you see an ad on TV for Budweiser, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Burger King, Walmart, you know, all these? Everybody knows those companies.
Constant.
No one's going to forget them, but they're going to make sure no one forgets
Yeah.
them and that they're still the first choice out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
no one's gonna
so-
forget that McDonald's is
Yeah.
around the corner,
Right,
but it's
exactly.
Still, at 3 out of every 5 commercials, it's gonna
Sure.
be
About
McDonald's.
every 5 minutes you hear ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
But see, they got you.
Yeah,
man. They got
I
you.
know.
You
I don't
know
even
it.
like that jingle either. I'm annoyed by it, but
Yeah.
I still know it.
But they show the cool people and they're biting a burger and they're just so happy about this McDonald's burger.
I am so happy, young
I
and
saw-
healthy.
I'm going to tell a drunk story about Brian.
Oh no. Oh no. What?
So we went out. Everybody tune in. Make sure you don't miss this when it's story time.
Ah,
We went out. We went out to a bottle share or something one time, and I think Brian will admit this. I'm much better than Brian at saying that's enough. And I think one of the reasons is
Probably.
Brian knows.
I love the side.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
probably.
Damn,
yeah, that's right.
There was one evening when he
My tolerance is
definitely
much higher too.
he definitely didn't say enough was enough. So
Yeah.
between him leaning out the window screaming the lyrics to REM songs,
Oh, okay.
we went
Into the
to
world? That's
Possibly
impressive.
like me.
And if you don't remember it, it didn't happen.
Nirvana
You're
and
right.
REM.
Oh, yeah.
So
I do like both of these things.
But
so
we
yeah.
hit the Taco Bell drive-through. We hit the Taco Bell drive-through, and they had these things. I think they were called like nacho folders or something. But they
now I
took a
remember
tortilla
this. Okay.
and folded into a triangle. But inside of it was like cheese and meat and tortilla chip things. Brian got a couple of those. And his house wasn't far from the
Yeah.
Taco
Yeah.
Bell, so I'm dropping him off, and goes to get out of the car and turns and realizes he's dropped his second one, like where it was just out of sight. And when he turned, he's got a whole nother taco.
Best feeling in the world.
Man,
Hey, well, I remember the
almost-
feeling.
He almost cried. He was so excited.
I thought it
find
was
that other
got
taco.
one more
Now,
taco.
Taco Bell really should have got with us for some video footage on that, because
Yeah.
that's a commercial. That man
It was moving.
was excited.
The happiest
about
man
that
in the
taco.
world.
What
Yes.
awards do people get for acting in commercials?
Yeah.
I think I would have won one of those.
Taco Bell. Brian's all like tears in his eyes. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
A commercial.
That's an old
I,
commercial.
It
line
is. That
too,
is an
yeah.
old one.
A commercial I missed that I really wish they would have
Yeah.
kept going longer is the most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, I
They
don't
could have
know
run
why
for
they.
decades.
Phenomenal beer ad.
Yeah.
So they swapped him out for, I guess, a younger
The young-
dude.
yeah.
Totally
Killed it.
No,
And
it died.
No
yeah.
offense
it.
to dude, but you are not him.
Yeah, and
You
I
are
wonder if
not
that's
him.
what killed it. It's
Turns out,
Saw
dude
it.
was not very interesting.
yeah,
No.
right.
They found the least most interesting guy in the world. The least interesting guy in the world. Unfortunately.
I don't
Unfortunately for them.
remember who the politicians were, and I should know my history, but there was something where one politician said something about John Kennedy, and I think he compared himself, and the other politician said, "You, sir, are no John Kennedy," and that's it. That's the same thing there.
You,
That
sir,
it's
are
not,
no most
It's
interesting man
not
in
the
the world.
same. You are not the most interesting man in the world.
You think he was too young, the new guy? Didn't look like he was.
Well, the idea
interesting
behind like,
enough?
all right, so you want to
I
put
think he
yourself.
was trying too hard.
Yeah.
They just like he wanted to
just
fill
did- it
shoes
just
that
didn't
weren't
feel
his.
right. It just
These
didn't
aren't
feel
your
right.
shoes. I mean, you put them
Yeah.
on, but they don't fit.
Well,
You can prance around all you want, but they are not your shoes.
I also
Right.
think the idea is like if you're getting wasted off a Dos Equis. But then you also see the commercial and you're like, oh, I got like 20, 30, 10 years to be that guy. I'm going to do it.
I'm good.
So like, I'm
If I
going to
keep
be the
drinking
most.
All the
Dos Equis,
mistakes
I'll
I'm
be
making
there.
now will make me as interesting as him
Exactly.
later.
Yeah. I'll be prepared for swordfish fighting or whatever.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Of course, I'm actually looking forward to that part of it, man. So
I don't even remember all the commercials, but I assume at some point he dove into water with a knife in his teeth. I mean,
No,
because
no, yeah.
you got to, right?
He was like James Bond drinking beer.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly
and
right.
you know what? The new guy, you know what, may be a
sounds
real
like
cool
a new
guy.
video for us to do.
Oh,
James
yeah,
Bond.
absolutely.
Yes.
Wait, diving off a cliff into water with a knife in your teeth?
I'll do
you need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how that works in the Fire Maker, but I think.
I'll have like a
Yeah.
dragon. Dragon.
Oh, you can wear like a whole dragon outfit while you do
Yeah.
What's up?
it. Kind of like those
Seth
Tyrannosaurus
House,
ones.
Thanks
Oh,
for checking in.
hey, Seth.
Hey.
Woo.
Houston, Texas, checking in there.
Pack
Seth
Studio.
House. Good to have you, man. Pack. We do have a full studio. It's nice to have people in studio
Yeah,
it is.
with us. We don't get to do that enough.
It's a lot more fun.
All this national expansion and pandemic kind of crushed our studio vibe some, Brian.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting our vibe back, though.
It is.
How long have y'all been doing in person?
So we have done, so we did, that was mostly what we did when we first started, because for some Beer Guys radio history, when we first launched on January 2nd, 2016, we were a local beer show. We were a Georgia beer show. So everyone we talked to, so if they were available, they came in the studio, you know, and we did that for probably about a year. And we tried to launch, or we did launch another podcast to cover not Georgia beer, but we started getting more affiliates outside of Georgia, Alabama, the Southeast, and it just didn't make sense not to cover that all in the same show.
Yeah.
Our first slogan was Georgia Radio for Georgia beer.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like since the pandemic, when have y'all gone back to in person?
Gosh, man.
I don't know when the first
You
time
know
it
what?
was. We
I'm
had
not
for a
sure.
long time. We weren't.
We went a while. Yeah, we went a long time and didn't. And there was, you know, there's some tough periods there just getting, and it still is. Scheduling is a little tough now because people will plan and they're like, well, we're short staffed.
Yep.
You know, that's so and so sick, things like that. So it's a tricky time for beer radio.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to be here. This
and
is cool.
everything. We're glad to have you, man. Glad
So
to
it
have
was.
you.
It was then. That was 5 years. It's been 5 years since I was on.
Yeah.
2017.
Yeah. So
I got a
Time flies, huh?
random question for you guys.
Go
I
ahead,
saw
shoot.
I think your previous episode on the 50 beers, 50
Okay.
states. It said your beer lineup had the Finch Songbird Pilsner.
it did.
That was one of my previous breweries in Chicago I was at. So
Okay.
I was
Oh,
curious
nice.
how
Cool.
you guys even got it down here.
So Jason that
Yeah.
did the article, he just reached out to all these breweries, and I can tell someone that didn't listen to the show, or he wouldn't know.
I did not listen to that episode.
So he just, you know what? He reached out to the brewers and told them what he was doing. You
Mhm.
know, just hey, I want to feature a brewery from every state. You know, do this and that. And he just, you know, they connected with him, sent him some beers to feature in the article.
Cool.
So that
Nice,
was
yeah.
it, and that was fantastic.
And he
That was
had so
really
much.
good. A Finch Pilsner.
There might be one in there,
Yeah,
yes.
man. Take
Yeah.
a little trip back to Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I actually listened to it and I thought y'all had a brilliant idea. And it just came so naturally. And I was just laughing because I actually think it's a great idea. Is he's done the 50 states and then y'all were talking about DC.
DC.
And then y'all were talking about territories. And I was like, that should be the follow up. Like
Right.
That's it.
Guam, Puerto Rico, DC.
Yes.
Like you should
Yeah.
pick these other like outliers
Yeah.
and do a whole follow up on them. If he's done 50 states, he could easily do the
Cover the rest
17
of it,
So we need
territories
him to
have.
do that article so we can have him back on the
That's
show
it.
so we can talk
Jason,
about it. Get those beers.
We
again.
know Jason listens, so Jason, when
Yeah.
you hear this, no, he won't hear this part.
Well, he might
This
if he's
doesn't-
watching it
think-
live.
Well, if
You-
we if
Yeah.
he does, we are actually chatting with him about doing something. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that-
Good
Can't
deal.
talk about it quite yet. 'cause
All
we're
right.
very early stages.
That's a
but-
super
right.
secret collab that's
Yeah.
possibly coming.
All right.
Super
All right.
secret. So
For-
secret,
yeah.
we won't even tell people streaming right
fine.
that are
That's
listening and
it. We're
streaming.
not it. Not telling.
We're not-
gonna-
You didn't hear
gonna do it.
anything.
Oh, we got Kettle Rock Brewing.
Yeah, we did have
listening
Kettle
in.
Rock
Yeah.
in. Yes.
We did.
They
Yeah.
were. I think they were one of the early ones.
Yeah.
Right after
Hey,
the,
Kettle Rock,
Yeah,
the pandemic
early
break
into the
there.
pandemic, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not early into it, but you know, one of the
Early
first
into
ones that
the back end of the
Yeah,
of round
whatever.
one, so
I don't even know what because are we? I mean, we're kind of out of it. Or are we kind of still in it? I don't even.
I
apparently,
don't. I'm not even attempting to quantify at
I
this
don't-
point.
I
I'm
don't actually-
just rolling with the punches and seeing where we go.
Yep.
this beer
Day
is
by
better
day.
than the last time. This is improved.
All right, give
This
me
is-
some
now,
What is it?
and I enjoyed it before, but this is This is good, man.
Oh.
Chattahoochee.
Is that Chattahoochee? All right.
Chattahoochee? I figured that was appropriate going in here because that's a unique one. Wow, guys, that's really.
I think
tasty.
it's in the notes of things to talk about as well. So.
It's yeah, that's definitely, it's one that, we don't make as much of that as we do as Haze and Blaze or Yonder, but I think I've only made a couple batches of it since I've been here.
I'm good, man.
In the batches since I've been here, that one it's popping.
Yeah,
like the
it's
aromatics
on point.
really jump at you on this batch. I'm really happy with how this one's tasting.
Does that have El Dorado hops in it?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you get some of that? What does it taste like to you?
I don't.
Do you
but
think
I
you
get
can
the
guess the
I
second
get the
hop?
candy.
I get the candy.
Can you
I
guess
get
the
the
second
candied
hop?
fruit.
And it's
Let
a
me see.
brewery favorite. It's in 3 out of our 4 core beers.
I was gonna say I know you use Citra in a fair number of things. Is it Citra?
It is not.
Oh, okay. I'm not good at guessing
Cashmere?
hops.
Sorry.
Cashmere.
No.
Ooh, that's an
Okay.
interesting one.
Good
Alright.
guess though.
I
Yeah.
get the El Dorado, and
There's a little bit of
because
a melon.
there's a softness.
Is it
there,
like mosaic or something like
It-
that?
It's lemon drop.
Oh,
lemon drop, yeah. Okay.
lemon drop.
which
Okay.
makes sense?
Oh,
hell, I knew
perfect. You
that.
got a nice
Beer.
little
It
lemon
was-
in your sweet tea.
It was in
and-
his
Yeah.
write-up of the beer. It was mentioned. Of course, I knew that. I think he mentioned that.
Steven, was it really that long ago, man? Gosh,
Oh yeah, I
it
guess
just flies. It flies.
We saw Kettle Rock when we were at CBC a lot, and I
Yeah.
think they were the only ones that could rival us as far as rolling deep as a company.
Oh yeah,
We had 5 of us at CBC. We felt like we were, just rolling as a mob, and then they
So-
came up and
and
were
you
like,
guys-
"Oh, they can match us."
you guys probably
The
came in
entire
all week with
entourage.
different last names too, didn't you? Because the Pete's don't do that.
no,
man.
they had all the same last names.
Yeah, we don't have any over.
Yeah,
You should temporarily legally get all your names changed to the last the same last
Sky
name.
Lizard.
Yeah. Sky Lizard. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sky Lizards are all
Lizard.
here.
Wow, that actually
That's a beer name.
Right?
Sky
Well,
Lizard.
yes. Yeah.
Because
Probably in-house.
someone posted recently online asking what the most unattractive male name was. And at the top of the thread was people going, like, I wish I hadn't gotten this thread because one of my name is like one of the top ones here. But someone said, I swear this is true. I'm from Missouri and there's a doctor here named Dr. Loki Sky Lizard. And they said the story goes that he was adopted and around 8 years old, his parents let him choose his own name and legally change his name. So I'm like, I got to Google this. And sure enough, in Springfield, Missouri, there is a Dr. Loki Sky Lizard.
I kind of wonder what his name was before that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his practice?
You know what?
Yeah,
He's a
like
surgeon. I remember
acupuncturist.
he was a
Exactly,
surgeon.
yeah.
He should
I
have those little cups that you set on
I
fire.
was gonna say he
the Sky
practices
Lizard.
juggling,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's not even a
sometimes
doctor.
balancing on a ball at
You
the
know,
same
That's
time.
his name. He changed it to doctor.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
doctor.
not a real doctor.
No, actually, he's a thoracic surgeon. I actually remember now that we mentioned
Oh.
that. So he
My
is.
God.
Yeah.
I knew a
And
Get a second
magician.
opinion. Get a second
Thoracic
opinion.
surgeon
Superman?
and musician.
legal first name
magician.
That's
Superman.
beautiful.
Oh no, it was Superman.
Superman.
Supaman
Yes.
was his legal first name given to him by his mother.
That's
Some
setting a
of
kid up
these-
for
yeah.
success in life for sure.
When I
Yeah.
was in high school, there was a girl there, and I'm told that it was a religious or something, but her first name, Gabriella Sheplachette, was her first name.
The whole thing.
The whole thing, Gabriella Sheplachette, and she didn't like it being shortened because it had meaning to her. So she was not Gabby. She wasn't Gabrielle. She was Gabriella Sheplachette. That was it. So
And did everybody have
Yeah.
as much trouble saying her name every single time as you did
know,
just
I
then?
feel like they were. I didn't know her well. Didn't hang in the same circles or anything. So didn't see her that much to know. But
I'm kind
I
of covering
feel
my
like-
mouth. Give her for Oh yeah. Oh, I said it. I said the whole thing.
right?
I
right.
said the whole thing.
Yeah,
What did you think I
so
said? That's what I said.
that was
Yeah.
it. No, I
That's
said
it.
it.
Oh, wait. Do we know what the top worst name was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember. Dude, once I got to Sky
He's
Lizard,
like,
I was
yeah.
out.
He's like, it's
I was
Kevin.
out.
I'm not
It
gonna
turns
say
out it turns out the top worst name was Tim.
I think
Oh.
no, there. You know what? There was a
You
one
said it so serious.
one was Jimothy.
Was Jim?
Jimothy.
Sounds like an office joke.
Right?
That's not even a real name.
Yeah.
Come on.
I think Cletus was on the list.
Okay,
that is-
Cletus.
yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yes.
Cletus.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a man. I'm trying to think of. I think it's a famous country star. That's. I can't think of the name.
So I
now.
won't punk out my friend because I know he does listen, and the name's unique enough that it would give away. But his mother wanted all the kids' names to start with the letter T.
Oh, I
So,
know
and I'll
this.
tell you, I'm sorry, listeners, but I'll share this story off air. But one of her boys has a name who the consonant sound at the front is not a T, so she just threw a T on the
A
front
silent
end of
T.
the way she spells it. Yeah, here, you know what? Let me see.
Well, you
let's
know, it's
just
your
write
kid,
it
I
out
guess.
for us. JD.
And
And they can change it one day. if
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Really don't like
You
it.
hit
There you go,
18, they
Kevin.
can do
What do you
whatever
think
they want.
about that right there?
it's.
I think it's a beautiful
And
name,
it
Tim.
works.
It's a beautiful
it works,
name.
doesn't it? Okay.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you
yeah.
see
yeah.
that? Can you see that?
Yeah,
over
I
there?
can see
All
that.
right,
Yeah.
there we go. No, Ken.
You gotta be careful
do
about
it.
that.
Don't wanna
all
get to
the
the camera.
explanation that person has had to do in their
Right.
life. They have spent
What's your
like
name?
months
So-and-so.
of their life just explaining like,
No, there's a T with a T.
I know.
I didn't misspell it my own name when I turned this in.
Right.
I
So
signed.
and so with a T. They're like, where the hell does the T go?
Yeah, my
Where
name
are
is
you putting
Brian.
this?
The Q is silence.
Yes. Do you know the show The Young Ones?
I've heard
Does
of it.
anybody
I've never
remember The
seen
Young
it.
Ones?
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Maybe late 70s, 80s show
I think it's
that they
pre my
replayed. Well, they replayed it on MTV back in the day. And it was like a punk rock guy, like this new wave guy, some like metalhead and a hippie guy that lived together in a college house.
I want to hang out with those. That sounds like a
Right?
fun house.
I know that the radio DJs in Portland at the time were very into that show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But there was I think the hippie, or not the hippie, but the new wave guy, he was kind of sensitive, and the punk guy liked to mess with him. The punk guy's name was Vivian, and the new wave dude name was Rick, and they went on this like college quiz show. And he said, anyhow, it came up to Rick, and Vivian had put a P in front of his name, and he's like, it's spelled with a silent P on the front of Rick. So, yeah.
Oh,
And there's our dagger. Boy, we've covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we
We
covered
really
a lot.
have. From silent P's and T's
Yes.
to
Have you guys been taking
Yes.
notes, because this might coming useful for brewing or something? I don't know.
I like
Yeah.
Sky Lizard. for
This was
beer
all
name.
beer related, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Everybody-
absolutely.
Or at least that's what started that way,
Yeah.
and just went
So
from
what,
there.
what style of beer is Sky Lizard? Because that
Oh,
will
man.
be on tap probably in the next 2 months.
Oh,
at
that's
Fire
got to.
Maker.
You know what? Bring back the pepper beers, man. Those kind of
Ooh,
went. Those
pepper
kind of
beers.
aren't as cool as they were a few years ago, but I think it's time.
So do you prefer it in a darker stout, or do you want to see
We're
it in
go-
IPA?
No, I think a stout, but not a sweet stout. Make it roasty. Some Sky Lizard roast there.
Sky
and-
Lizard pepper
and,
stout. huh?
Yeah, maybe a couple different. You know what? Do it.
Roasted and toasted and peppered.
Yeah.
No. Oh no.
Yeah.
Waffle House smothered and covered.
Oh,
Yes.
We got to find a way to work
Yeah.
that in.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see a Roush amber with peppers in it, hot peppers in it.
That could be good. We have a smoked Mexican lager coming out this weekend. If
See?
you guys
Okay.
want to
All
get
right.
on the Roush train.
I was
right.
actually going to ask about that, because I mean, Fire Maker, come on.
Oh,
Roush
That makes-
Oh,
beer.
yeah,
you
yeah.
I mean,
kinda
come
have
on.
to-
We've
Come
probably had
on.
about 3 or 4 smoked beers.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
It's-
Smoky.
This is actually the first Roush beer I've ever made.
What's
And-
one? Grodzki? Is that
Yeah.
smoke style? Is that
Grodzki.
Grodzki?
It's like a
Grodzki?
smoked-
Grodzki.
It's a smoked wheat.
Oh,
kinda
smoked
style.
wheat.
The one I
Right.
always think
Yeah.
of is Schlenker.
We did
Law.
that.
Schlenker.
In Carlisle.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just talking about that beer today because
Yeah.
the guys at Round Trip.
Here we go.
our
Let's see.
neighbors.
Kimberly's got a question here. How
Oh,
about
yeah.
some blueberries, man? What do we know about blueberry beers?
Oh, I'd love to do a blueberry beer. That's a great
All right.
question, Kimberly. If we did, it'd be like something, obviously a stout, or Rachel just pointed at Chattahoochee tea. So we do like
Oh,
variations on
blueberry
Chattahoochee tea.
Okay.
We've got, of course, Georgia tea,
Right.
but we're going to do Chattahoochee tea peach. We did it last year. It was a big success.
Yeah,
So we'll be bringing that back. But yeah, blueberry would be good.
that would be good.
But I love the idea of like blueberry pancakes and stuff like
Let
that.
me tell you something. Idea that I had right before we quit home brewing.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened. It was like the Magic Dragon one day. Little Tommy.
Hang on, is this
Favorite
pancake
didn't-
gravy we're going to get
didn't
into?
come- No,
it's not-
but
okay, all
My
right.
idea was a white stout, a blueberry pancake white stout. That
I
was
do have
kind
a
of
white stout on the schedule
See?
already.
So, and it's like the whole
He
pancake
likes-
breakfast. You get some coffee in there,
Coffee,
a little bit of smoke
blueberries.
for bacon. Blueberry pancakes.
Like
use
maple,
a nice,
probably. Maybe?
a nice
Oh,
bready
yeah.
malt to get
Breakfast
that
in a
with
glass.
toast. Yeah, your whole blueberry pancake breakfast right there in your glass.
I love it. I don't know if that's Sky Lizard, but I love
You're
the
right.
idea of
I'm not
breakfast
sure
in a
that's
glass.
Sky Lizard. Yeah.
But no, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Will be about 400 calories.
right.
Well, I mean,
9%.
like
breakfast.
any good stout should be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but see, on,
if
on
you
the
don't
label,
gain
you
weight after
say-
drinking one of them, then what are you even doing?
You just say 100 calories per serving, and it's serving
It's a
is 2
1 ounce.
ounces.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
It's a
But you market
approximate
it as 100
servings in
calories.
15.
That's the candy bar marketing trick right there.
Yeah, right.
How's this Snickers bar 8 servings? You know?
I love that idea. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We should make just the
Breakfast and-
biggest caloric beer possible,
Now there's
and call it a 100-calorie beer in 1 ounce pours.
Or just
There you
servings
go,
per
man.
can.
Here you
Just call
go.
it servings per can. You know.
because I know there's some beers that have really hit the calories hard because of the nature of them. But I wonder if anybody's went in there with the intentions
Just
of
putting
packing
calories.
in as much as you could.
That's why it's on the brain, is because there was a lot of people asking for lower caloric beers and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just, we are where we didn't used to think about it as much. Now it is like just one of those like check boxes when you're like, all right, so where's this going to be at? Just so you know, let people know.
Can you get a logo on here where it has the dragon on a treadmill with like a sweatband on?
Yeah,
on there?
Rachel, right?
There,
Yeah.
there we go. There we
The
go.
100 calorie beer, and it's like
Uh-huh.
it's a 13.999% the imperial pastry stout.
Yeah, it's got tons of protein for
Yeah,
your
it's
post workout.
all the protein.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put workout powder in that thing.
There you go. Right.
Such a way.
It's a hazy boy. What's it matter?
It
you know?
includes whey and
Shake
lactose.
it-
Whey
shake it
and
before-
lactose? What?
Yeah.
Some casein. You
Yeah,
know.
shake
Yeah.
it before you open it.
Go totally different and serve it as a bar. Like the the Laura bars are different, that's it. So
You just tear the top off.
yeah.
Dehydrated.
Put it out.
Dehydrated.
This is
Okay,
my favorite
all right.
beer. Show someone run like after a long day of hard work. I need a good beer. So,
We could totally do that.
Well, I was just thinking, like, cans are getting expensive these days. Maybe you could come up with a candy bar esque like container for a beer. Where I don't know if you could tear it open without pouring the beer, but maybe you have a little sippy
well, we
pouch
know
on
you
it.
can
I'll
make it
text Sawyer
still.
right now.
You can make it.
He'll respond in
still
like
and
10
put it in a
minutes.
bag.
Shout out
So
to Sawyer Battle.
Yeah. our packaging guys
Little
get us what we need.
He's
Capri
fantastic.
Sun, like imperial pastry stout in a Capri Sun
Oh,
situation. Yeah.
Oh,
man, what's it? See,
Nappy
again,
juice.
carbonation is your enemy there. But boy, that
Yeah.
would be fun.
Oh,
wouldn't
big
it?
boy
Well,
stout
depends.
like that. You don't have to worry.
They're not
about
very-
carb.
Just
You
like
No,
a
they're-
still thing, you don't
yeah.
need the carb.
Really
there.
low carbonation on that,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
any. You know.
Yeah, just to keep the packaging firm enough
Just
that
keep it
it's
there,
not
right?
like folding
Just-
on itself.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just enough so when you put the straw in, it starts to come out, and you have to start drinking immediately.
Go right
You can't wait. You got to get
You
right
had to do
on
that
that.
with the Capri Sun anyway.
Because you're always squeezing.
Oh, yeah.
Squeeze it and pop the
Hold on,
straw
let's
in there.
well, that's
Yeah.
why you stick the straw on the bottom, but then you could set it down anywhere.
Yeah.
Man, those things
No,
are hard. to
90s
operate,
nostalgia.
They have the
Yeah.
adult
Yeah.
Capri Suns now, though, right? They same shape and tube, but they're alcoholic and boozy margaritas
I'm
and
sure
stuff.
they do now.
Sure.
You know they've got to. Yeah, it has to be.
Oh,
there. It has
Arbor
to be
Mist
there.
used to have something like that. That we used
Do they
to
still
Oh my
do
gosh,
the?
Arbor
Do they
Mist.
still
Yeah.
do the buckets of margarita you throw in the freezer and you just open up or something?
I
like
sure
that? Do you
hope
remember that? Yeah, I remember seeing those. I haven't seen them in a while, so it's a possibility. Anyway,
Any more great ideas here?
Yeah, Tyler's trying to get it.
Is it way? Are we getting?
the message is coming from inside the studio.
Sure.
Yeah.
Come on up. What you got to say? You ready to join us?
Come on,
Make
Susan.
this a party.
Maybe one more beer and then you're out.
Anybody want to break out the whiskey and let's see what Susan's got to say?
Yeah. Are you a gin or a whiskey person?
Susan's like, yeah. Yeah. I drank all my Chattahoochee tea.
Oh yeah.
let's
Is
see.
there more of it over there?
Yeah, we
There's
got
more-
6
you know
packs
what?
of
Yeah, we gotta have
everything.
some more of that. Yeah.
So
You
we got a
guys-
yonder laying around?
What is this one? What's the
So that's our nice
Is it
leisure beer
just
now, and
lager?
just your easy drinker. It's a golden.
okay? You know what? I think I need to try that. So let me rinse this tea
Just
out
with
of my
the-
glass here. Way down yonder after the Chattahoochee tea.
That's right. So is this the yonder right here?
So we have a. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Chattahoochee tea. But we're getting the yonder out.
I will combine it with the existing Chattahoochee tea.
So that's funny you say that.
Combined.
Way
Exactly.
down yonder on
All right.
the Chattahoochee.
So exactly. So I
Don't get his
we have a
copyright
beer
strikes
blend.
here.
Exactly. So
50-50. Oh, yeah.
to not infringe on copyright
Yes.
by any means,
Yeah.
we have a beer called Way Down Yonder.
Yeah.
And when you do a beer blend with the Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee, it's a beer blend we like to call the
Genius.
Alan J
Yes.
in the tap room. So
Okay.
fill
Brian
in the
doesn't get
blanks if
that
you were-
reference, but
I've
Brian
actually
doesn't
heard.
know the J part.
Is it Jackson?
It is. It is
Okay.
Alan Jackson.
See, I'm not a big country person, but
Yeah.
I'm aware these things exist. I've heard that there's such a
right.
thing called country music, and I've heard names
Yeah.
associated with it. I've heard this name before, and I've also heard Way Down Yonder on the Chattahoochee. I've heard of that before too.
It gets hot down there, from what I hear.
Mhm. Actually, Georgia.
I'm not surprised given the geography of the area. It makes
Right.
sense to me. Makes sense. That's about as far as I can get into that.
Okay. Brian, that's like Brian discussing sports. Oh yes, given the geography, it does sound
Given
as though
the
it would be quite hot.
See, I might
on the Chattahoochee.
see. I might be be good with the stats and all that portion of it. Like I'd be able to analyze the heck out of the geography related to the given environment.
We were at Taco Mac a couple months ago, and they had 3 or 4 games in there, and everybody's watching the games. And I'm talking to Brian because neither one of us know sports that well. So we're talking, and these guys, like, let's say it was Auburn, Georgia, and there were guys in there
Sounds
for
about
both
right.
teams. So they just get to chatting with each other. I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like beer. It brings, the sports will bring people together. And I was like, the thing is, I think I said something to Brian about, you can BS your way through it a little bit,
Yeah,
and then Brian heard the guy behind us heard us talking, and he leans over and he says something. I don't remember what he said about it. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, they just really got to run it. I said he had that. He should have just went for it. He's like, yeah. Yeah. And he goes, and we had maybe a 3-minute conversation.
Yeah, good 3 to
Brian's-
5 minutes.
Brian's
Yeah.
like, that's impressive. And I had no idea.
No clue what happened to play or anything.
Yeah.
It was just kind of
I'm like, well, if they
Gotta
tighten,
give
if they
100%,
tighten up their
you know.
defense,
It's
it's
just more defense. Got to work on that
It's
offense.
all about the effort,
That's
That's
right.
it.
Put it in. Got to
They
give
just- They got to
100%.
give 100%.
They got to give 100%.
I got I just got my wife into football now that she's living in the South for the first time in her life. And
Yeah.
she's interested, but she's like, why didn't he just keep running? He should have run faster. I'm like,
I mean,
I
it
think
makes
he was.
sense.
Why didn't he run faster? Well,
Yeah.
genetically, or just in terms of the physiology, I don't think his legs were capable of that. They were
I
going
s-
as quickly as they could.
It's a
back and
good
forth.
point, though. He should just run
It is.
faster.
It
Yeah.
just run faster.
If you'd only run
especially
faster.
with baseball, that's what gets her when they're jogging down the first baseline on the pop up. She's like, "Why didn't
Just
he run?"
go, man, go.
Well, now a
because I don't
lot of
make as much of a.
I was going to
with my
say
ankle.
a fair number of the guys playing baseball look like they have the same physique as me, so I understand why they don't go fast.
Which means
It's our
I think
boy
you still have a
Jason
chance.
Murphy.
Hey,
Oh, hey, he is
Jason Murphy,
watching.
We've been talking about you,
That's
all day,
good.
man.
Yeah.
We've been talking about you.
We
Enjoying
teased the,
all of these beers.
Yeah, we teased the collab, Jason. So
They didn't tell us anything though. So your
Yeah, we know
secret's still
nothing.
safe.
So what do we have over
Secret
here?
is still
What
safe.
was this one? I saw you poured 2 of them.
no. I poured. That's
No,
Way
she
Down Yonder.
evened
Oh,
it
is that
out.
way down?
Yeah,
yonder?
that's for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
for
All
you,
right. All right.
Okay, all right.
So when you're floating the Chattahoochee this summer, you get yourself a Way Down Yonder.
There you go.
We
man.
have to do just like a commercial
Oh yeah,
on the river this summer.
Yeah.
One in each hand on a tube.
Yeah.
Floating down.
It's marketing. We have to go out there all day.
is it copyright
you know.
infringement if
No,
if they're
no.
right next to each other?
Man, I think we can
no.
get,
Or am I the
I
wrong
think
We
way?
need an on. We need a big on. Sorry.
I think we can get Alan Jackson to sign off on this. I think we can
Not-
work this.
He's
So,
welcome to play at the brewery.
Who has the licensing? We did find out because we know
Yeah,
the
he may
Nappy
not
Roots
own it,
guys.
yeah.
We know the Nappy Roots guys, and they have given us permission. We can use any of their music as long as it was the music made when they were independent.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah.
that's we can't
Nice.
use it. That was when they were with a major label, but they're like, yeah, if it's independent, man, rock on. We're cool with that.
That's so
So,
cool. man.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're open, right?
They are.
yeah,
last
last
weekend.
weekend.
At
Okay,
Kentucky,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
it's open.
Yeah. I remember I went there when it was they were still doing like the event
Right.
hall thing, and so that's cool. I need
Yeah.
to get over there.
Yeah. I
Good
also
stuff.
need to get over there. I was under
Yeah,
the
you haven't
weather.
made it yet. You were ill that
I was
day.
under the weather, was not up to making the trip out. Tim went
Uh-huh.
in our stead or my stead. So
I represented. I
yeah,
had to go
you did the
represent.
representation. You did it well. And I'm looking forward to getting over there because I want to taste what they're brewing. I mean, I've had some of the stuff they've brewed in the past pre-brewery, but
Yeah.
I've not had anything made there before.
Tasty stuff, man. They've got solid offerings. I'm sure it'll just get better. They didn't try and get crazy out of the gate. You know, a pale ale, hazy IPA, chocolate stout, chocolate milk stout, and a hef.
Skinny likes his
nice.
peppers.
Not
in his
enough
beers.
Hefeweizens in the South.
There's not. No.
And
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I am learning
no.
the scene down here.
Right.
But I've noticed not enough wheat,
Mhm.
not enough Hefeweizens.
We save
I
all.
was expecting a lot more refreshing beers, down here,
Well, you know
considering the
what's-
weather and
what is popular down here, and I've had people from other areas mention it, like kettle sours, like fruited
Mhm.
kettle sours, and I
Mhm.
think they spread out more. But like, I know someone that came here from California, and they're like, dude, you guys have got so many of these, and they can get
Yeah.
stouts and the West Coast IPAs and the big stouts, the big sours, and all that. He's like, but we don't have a lot of these drinkable sours,
Mhm.
So I think that's the South thing.
Didn't they have a
all
whole?
that.
Isn't there a whole category, or was a whole category like Florida Weiss or something like that? That's
yeah.
Yeah.
like the fruited whatever.
That's your
it's like
basic
just-
kettle sour fruited,
Yeah,
that
and
just
fruited Berliner,
Yeah.
kind of,
essentially, right?
but it's not a Berliner.
rules.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
It's not really a
Eh.
Berliner, just
Yeah.
kettle sour.
It's just a kettle sour, which,
So
which
where's
is fine.
the,
It's
where's
great beer.
the difference
but,
there? Where is the dividing line?
I mean, if you want to go real historical,
Are you going to get
Berliners,
nerdy on us here?
Berliners need to be buried underground and aged.
Oh,
And,
okay. All
like
right.
that's-
Berliner.
I've not seen anybody bury any beer that I can
I think-
remember.
if I remember
You're not
correctly, that's
thinking of
the
those Chinese
original,
eggs,
like-
are you? The 1,000-year-old eggs? Okay. He's like, oh, hell, I've been doing my Berliner so wrong.
It's like, oh, it's the eggs. It's the eggs.
But try these fruited eggs.
I've
I
been
have.
boiling my eggs for like 2 hours, but
Right.
burying my beers. I've been doing this
Yeah.
backwards. So.
Real quick, since Jason's listening, Jason, totally got to do the districts and territories follow up.
Yes, we
Yeah,
Districts
talking
and
about
territories
that,
follow up.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Get there.
he catches
To
that.
follow up.
So there's got to be about 6 or 7 districts and territories.
Oh shoot, like
Or-
it's like 17.
Is
or,
it really
yeah,
that many?
15. If you
Do
get
I
into
not
like if
really
it's
know? Yeah.
territory versus like a-
Protectorates and things like
Yeah.
that. There's
Yeah.
all sorts of interesting categories where there's a relationship of some kind, but
And-
they're not considered a state.
and
by
all
any
those
stretch.
small islands, they've got some cool breweries going
Gotta
on
be
down
some
there.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime
I
you
want to.
peruse the brewing job websites, there's always like Island Paradise off the coast of Costa Rica, brewery looking for
Yeah.
a brewer. Like it's more common than you think.
Don't make him mad or he's on the beach.
Oh, I know,
man.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
on the
I already
beach,
did my
so-
4 years of island
See,
brewing. I'm
okay,
done.
There you go. There you go, man. Well, I tell you what, y'all. Why don't we finish up the show so we don't
yeah.
get too
We're doing a
lit?
speed segment. We'll just like
Just go.
If by speed you
no,
mean
no.
about 10 minutes, then you're
Then you're right. Then
I mean, if we're gonna-
You're right.
one answer.
It feels
Yeah.
like it. The lightning round. All right, y'all. We're gonna go live here. Or
Live.
yeah.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our. Oh, you know what? I'm reading the wrong one.
Are you doing the wrong
I am
one?
doing the wrong one. Should we requeue it or should I?
Sure. He stopped it, so I
Okay.
guess that means yes.
The Baltic Porter is 9.5%.
Is
Nine
it the
percent.
Baltic Porter? That's what it is.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, back to the Beer Guys radio show.
Shake it back!
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Fire Maker Brewing.
Fire Maker Brewing. We've been tasting a couple more of their beers here, and I drank Chattahoochee.
Mhm.
That sounded great. The
That
can
did.
pop
That was
there.
perfect.
That was a beautiful can pop there.
The marketing person, of course.
It is, right?
Of course.
Yeah. She's even got skills with the sounds too. So,
Crazy.
yeah. But Chattahoochee, I've had that before. This one seemed really good, and I'm sure you guys are always improving there, working on that. But tell us about that beer because it's pretty unique.
So Chattahoochee, the idea behind it was we wanted to do West Coast IPAs, East Coast, New England IPAs, everything around the states per se. And it was like, why is there not a Southeastern IPA? That was just literally the idea. And so then we started bouncing around with our old head brewer, Tyler, before we were in open, and with Rachel. And it was like, all right, so what's synonymous with the South, as far as like food pairings and stuff like that. And we got into, of course, sweet tea. Like you can go anywhere in the South and get sweet or unsweetened tea. You start moving out of the South, probably not going to find good sweet tea as often.
Right.
So
have tea, but it's just going to be tea.
So then the idea was, our old head brewer, Tyler, he had done a green tea pale ale, and I tried it, and it was a good beer, but it just wasn't exactly what we were looking for with like an experimental IPA where we're like trying to say like, and we put it on the can, Southeastern IPA. But I started thinking back to my home brewing days, and I was like, I need to sweeten it up a little bit from the bitterness of the tea blend in it. And once we added a little bit of lactose, that kind of rounded out the tea and made Chattahoochee tea. So that is
a little lactose in there, huh?
just to round out the bitterness and we use green and black tea.
Cream. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
But it's tasty, unique and tasty. And I know when it launched, there were some people that hated on it before they'd ever tried it.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah,
out of the gate, there's got to be a few haters.
Oh, sure.
Preemptive hating.
Mhm.
Yes.
What? What's the, yeah? So the thing is there's still people who don't like it. I would actually give it about 85%. They come up and they're like, no, I like my beer and tea separate. I hear that stuff, and you're like, okay, we'll give it a try. You like beer and tea, and 85% they taste them like I've never had anything like this. And so talk about creating fans and stuff like that. I definitely think people who like Chattahoochee really like Chattahoochee, and there's some people who try it and they're like, nope, I still like my beer and my tea separate.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. We've got some of those too. You don't have to drink it.
We got 30 beers on trial.
I was skeptical going in, and I think that on our very first visit, well, I've got to try that. I'm like, I'm skeptical. I'm thinking this is not going to hit the mark. It was good. It's still good. I like it.
And we actually didn't plan on putting it into the market as fast as we did, but it was actually our distributors who tried it, and they're like, "There's nothing else like this out there. You need to put this in the market and give it its run in the market and see if it does well."
Good stuff. I want to talk craft brewing guilds. Or guilds. So you have recently been elected the VP, or is this recent? How long have you been the
end
VP?
of last year, right?
No, so it's in the summer. So it was the summer of last year. I was on the board the year before, and then I was elected to VP last summer in July. But we didn't think about posting
to finish
it.
the sentence, VP of the Georgia Craft Brewers.
Oh
VP
so
VP of the Georgia Craft Brewers Guild. We're always trying to improve the laws here.
Mm-hmm.
We currently have a bill out,
SB 420.
SB 420. What are we trying to do here in Georgia with SB 420?
Very quickly, in like a sentence, where you're trying to remove the cap limit on breweries. Basically, you can buy 288 ounces right now, or you can buy 288 ounces right now. We're trying to remove that cap limit for breweries. So we have people walk in and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to my friend's wedding on Saturday, and I need 2 or 3 cases." And we're like, "You get one.
You get one."
They're like,
"Can I get a keg?"
No. So we're trying to remove that cap limit, and then also product donations, specifically, so it's written product donations, beer donations to charities and stuff like that. So there's so many small charities, and we work with a whole lot of charities, and they reach out to us and they want just beer for whatever they're doing to, help their fundraising or whatnot. And we can't just donate our product.
Legally do it.
No.
Now, Elliot, sorry, go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, just
a question I always see when we talk about these, because I know something we've talked about for years here in Georgia is self-distribution. It's something we do not have, that is totally forbidden in the state. And anytime the bills are posted on online beer forums and that, there's always people that ask, why are we going for these? Why don't we just go out and say, look, we want self-distribution? And of course, from the consumer side, we want a higher ABV cap. We want self-distribution. We want that. Why don't we go after that? Why don't we make that hard at bat to get that done?
That's a great question. And, honestly, 10 years ago, I would have been like the same person. I'd be the person saying that. But as you get deeper into it and you work more and more closely with how it actually takes for laws to change, it's not, breaking down a wall overnight. It's brick by brick over time. And as we've all seen, just being people of the world, how slow things can move in legislation. whichever direction they're going. And so you have to go out and get the incremental wins every day, so they build up to, you know, your long-term goals and stuff like that.
Because
you don't I'm sorry, I'm just saying, you don't open a brewery overnight. It's
right.
You brew your first beer, you hire your first person, and you know, it's the same way. It's you're I am not saying like people who want to say that, yeah, shake the cages, whatnot, but you're swinging for the fence when we want to get on first.
And let's be honest here, there's a side of this that has a pretty strong force at the fence line. And so when you go in for these law changes, and if you've never followed a law that closely, if you've never followed how it works, it's not as simple as having a good idea or a right idea and putting it in front of a lawmaker and saying that. There's lobbyists out there for every industry, for the alcohol industry. And the thing is there's lobbyists that are pro craft brewer, there's lobbyists that are pro wholesaler. And a lot of times those two don't jive with each other.
Sure.
You know, they're a lot of the time. Retailers as well. There were retailers when we got the right in 2017. I say when breweries got the right in 2017, when Georgia got the right to do direct sales, there were retailers that were very unhappy about it. There were retailers that made threats to brewers that I'll never carry your product again if you're going to become my competitor. And so, you know, these things, the reason, to my understanding, Elliot, is you don't swing for the fences is because there's someone there, and that it could be a showstopper from getting these incremental changes.
Sure. Yeah. So I say swinging for the fences. There's a whole defensive team.
There's a very strong defensive team.
Yeah. And, you know, on self-distribution, while, I mean, it obviously works in other states, I came from the distributor side, and I saw how hard everybody works there. We have great distributors, and they are a hardworking team.
Right.
And I think there's a way for both to exist. And that's the movement we need to be pushing forward. And we see it in other states with, you know, small limited distribution, a small brewery, and trust us. Yeah. Like in a free market, you know, you go out and sell your product. You don't walk into a bakery and the baker says, you can buy one loaf of bread.
That's right. That's it.
So
288 ounces of bread, and
precisely.
get out of here.
But
so
we can't do what the distributors do. Like
Right.
we need them. They're our partners, and luckily we partner with ours very well. But like they have fleets of trucks, they have relationships across the state, and then they go out and move that. But letting a small brewery kind of get their feet into the water and then go out and, you know, pick their distributor, that seems to be the more common around the nation.
And the thing is a lot of these distributors, they don't want the 200 barrel brewery that's going to send a keg out to their neighborhood bar, that's going to send a case out to this store. That is not worth their time to come down, pick up warehouse catalog and all this. So it really seems like in the long term, it would be a win-win for some limited self-distribution here in Georgia.
Yes.
Sure. But like I said, with the wall, it's brick by brick.
That's right,
So-
man. Brick by brick. Well, we don't want to take up all the time. We've got a little bit of time here. We want to let people know about your grand anniversary.
Gotcha.
Grand anniversary. That sounds awesome.
So our grand anniversary, the reason it's called grand anniversary is because we opened March 6th of 2020, which is perfect timing because we closed 7-8 days later in middle of March for COVID, and we did a soft opening March 6th, and our grand opening was going to be like late March. So obviously that didn't happen with COVID. Closed for a few months, reopened, and then fast forward to 2021, we were like, all right, well, it's kind of a combination. It's our grand opening and our anniversary because we had to push it back a year. So grand anniversary is the name we just used and then stuck, and so now it's our grand anniversary. But I didn't want to just quick on the guild though is that the guild is actually putting together their very first, and this is a plug.
Sure, go for it.
A nice segue there, right?
Yeah.
Smooth.
But
Hey, Tim, I'm going to plug something.
Yeah.
Rock on, man.
Yeah, go for it.
So, anyways, a lot of us at the guild, Rachel, the president for Monday Night, and Joseph, the executive director, and a lot of other people all working together. We are going to put together our first ever Georgia Guild Beer Festival. And that is actually Saturday, April 2nd. And the neat thing is it's beer festival. And what a lot of us are doing is we are collaborating on beers with other Georgia breweries. So at this beer festival, you'll be able to get collaborations that you normally would never be able to get. And, you know, a lot of them also will supporting your
We'll share
local
links on that.
breweries.
We'll make sure
Yeah,
people know
thank
about
you.
it there. So, Elliot, almost out of time.
April
Quick-
2nd on that festival, correct?
That is
April
correct. I'm going to steal a question Brian had for you here. You're going for your pilot's license. If you get your pilot's license and we get self-distribution, will you fly distribute your beers around?
Sure, in the Sky Lizard.
That's it.
In the Sky Lizard. Nice,
There we
nice.
go. If people want to keep up with what's going on at Fire Maker Brewing, what's going to be the best way for them to do that?
Across all social medias, we are at Fire Maker Beer, or just go to our website at firemakerbeer.com.
Good stuff.
Yeah, everyone knows what to do by this point in time.
You
Find
got to
the QR
figure it
code.
out, man. Find the QR code. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Enjoyed chatting with you. Good times.
Yeah, thank y'all for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys so
Absolutely.
much. Appreciate it.
Sure thing. That about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show, Brian. Join us next week as we talk with Arkansas's Fossil Cove Brewing Company. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow us for more craft beer info. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and don't forget to drink local. Cheers. Clear. Dun, dun,
All
we did
right.
it.
Woo!
Yay,
Thank y'all.
beer.
We are
Nate,
still
want to check
streaming.
those couple
Yeah,
comments?
we got a
Let's
couple
see.
comments over there.
Let's holler at that. So what do you got here? Jason, I'm on it.
He's on it. Incorporated areas. All right.
Moonshine collabs.
Moonshine.
Oh,
Nice.
we got a
Collabs,
still,
little White
Jason.
Lightning.
Oh, Angie's got a.
Beer fights. I'm ready for a beer fight.
Who's
Is
a
there
beer
an L
fight?
left
What's a
out of
beer
there?
I'm hoping she's referring to beer flights.
I'm hoping she's not, actually. This
Ah,
sounds
yeah.
a lot more interesting.
Is a beer fight like
I
a
want-
food fight where you're just throwing beer at each
Let's
other?
find
Is
out.
I
it
want
in
you
the
to dress
glass?
up in giant, like padded beer cans and then fight each other in a ring. That'd be amazing.
Maybe they're talking about the Oktoberfest when we were doing the.
Oh, the
Oh,
Stein holding.
The
Stein
Stein holding.
holder.
Maybe that's
Stein
what
holding?
we're- People got
Fighting the beer.
Well, that's
pretty
more-
into that.
That's more of a fight with
You
gravity.
know what? I heard,
Yeah.
I heard a trick on that. You rotate and hold because that's just the way
It's
you're,
a stronger
or maybe
muscle.
it's the other. Yeah, like this, the way your arm goes.
If
that's
you
easier to
stand
do
on
that,
your
so,
head and hold it like this, yeah.
yeah. something like that.
Angie, yes, we do special events. So just go to our website, firemakerbeer.com.
Yeah, really cool space there. See the dragon murals, the dragon sculpture.
Yeah,
Take your picture there. Make a spark, right?
create.
Create a spark.
Oh.
That was close.
That's very
That
close,
was-
though,
There you
man. I
go.
appreciate that.
Spark it up or whatever. Yeah, something like that. Make a
Hey,
spark, create a spark. There we go.
Is Kettle Rock going to be at CBC this year?
The tough
Let-
question.
Because I apparently have to bring like 7 if we want to outdo
Yeah, we got to
y'all,
outdo
like-
them.
I gotta get. See, it's a challenge.
They had
man.
all of Comfort Plus.
We-
They had every seat Comfort
This
Plus.
is going to be like the battle in Ron Burgundy, where the news
All the-
station.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Oh, I have.
Who's
Rachel
getting the
killed a guy with
trident?
the trident.
Oh, I have-
Rachel. Rachel
I-
gets the trident.
I have had that
Yeah.
written down. That and dang,
Who-
we
who's
should have
got the
talked
brick?
about it. So
See?
the west side. So there's like 10 different breweries or cideries on the west side, and we actually got.
yes.
Nice.
The answer
We'll
is
see you there.
yes.
The the
Um,
gauntlet.
But we have we're putting together a west side passport, and like
Oh,
we
yes,
actually.
right.
Yeah, we
okay.
actually got everyone together. We all got on a Zoom call. All 10 of us the other day, and we're gonna have a West Side passport where you go around and stuff like that. So it would be pretty cool to do a Ron Burgundy park fight.
Heck yes. Heck yes. We wanted to. We actually had that on our list. to
Get the
talk
video
about.
of
We
it,
just didn't
and
make it
that's
there.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all, I'm going to sign off here. Facebook, YouTube, thanks for joining us all. Always a good time chatting with everybody. We're going to sign off here, and we'll be back next week with Fossil Cove. We hope you will come join us again. Cheers.